What's going on, everybody? Cali Death Podcast back once again, episode 132. I am your host, Anthony Trapani. As always, I am joined by a couple resident homies tonight. We're going to be missing the professor. He's on tour. We're going to be plugging that soon. But tonight, I am joined by Casey Howard and Jill Horner. What up, y'all?
What is up?
Well, hello.
Yes. And tonight we are joined by the guitarist, vocalist of the tastefully technical band Revocation. We got Davidson with us. What's going on, brother?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being with us, dude. And we're like we were just saying pre-pod, we're fans of what you've been doing for quite some time, and
Definitely.
it's really cool to have you on the show, dude. So thanks for giving us your time.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
No doubt, dude. And it's a little bit later for you. That's why we're starting a little bit early for all you regulars that are hanging with us every Thursday. But yeah, let's get into some plugs real quick. As always, we got battleforgecoffee.com up at the top. That's our homies in Deeds of Flesh. They started this company a while ago, and I love it. I love what they're doing. We plug it with no financial gain whatsoever. I'm not a part of this company. We get some coffee every now and then, but it's really good coffee. So when we get it, we're stoked. And like I said, it's underground death metal. We're supporting the homies. So battleforgecoffee.com is where you guys got to get your coffee if you're down with the Cali Death Underground. And for us, we got calideathpodcast.bigcartel.com. A couple of t-shirts for you guys. They've been on sale for a while, but we still got some at pretty much whatever size you are. We still got it. So if you want to support the show, that's literally the only way you can put money in the show's pocket. Prices aren't crazy. They're sick designs. Go buy that shit. And let's see what else we got. A couple tours that we're plugging.
I know that RKX is done.
Oh, okay. So
Finished.
RKX is done. So
Yeah.
rock on for another ending of a tour. You always getting to the end of a tour is always like, doesn't matter what happened. You just got it done. So it's a success no matter what.
You got through it.
Speaking of which, the professor's not here tonight because
They're starting tonight, right? This is the first
Yep.
show tonight.
Oh, yeah.
we're
Kansas City. Yep.
Kansas
Last
City
of Lucy.
tonight.
Yep.
Last of Lucy. The professor is hitting the skins for those guys. But yeah, obviously, if you're here, you're not listening to this live if you're at that show right now. But what's tomorrow? I don't even have my glasses on. What's Friday night on that bill? Minnesota?
Yeah, Minneapolis. Mortimers.
Okay,
Minneapolis.
so June 2nd, which most of you people watch this on YouTube the next day. That's today. If
Right.
you're in Minneapolis,
Friday.
Minnesota, get on the internet and find where the fuck Last of Lucy is going to be, because the professor will beat your head in with those skins that I was talking about.
What is the other band? Discordia.
Discordia.
I would say that, yes, dude.
Right.
I've
Awesome.
gotten to an age where my eyes can't handle metal logos anymore, dude. Death metal logos specifically. They just they don't compute with my brain anymore, dude.
Oh yeah,
that's happened. Yep, the final headliner's been announced. That's our homies in Defeated Sanity. Look at that packed bill right there.
Go Domination Fest 8.
At the Chicago Domination Fest 8. Yes, we are
Right.
proud sponsors of that show. We did a little giveaway, and that's already done and gone. But now you guys just get out there and support those bands, because, again, underground death metal, guys. That's why we're all here. Okay, is that it for the plugs for
Yes.
our end?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, David. Tell everybody where they can go to find Revocation information and merchandise.
So I think revocationband.com is probably the easiest place to go. We're on all the social media stuff like that. Can I swear in this podcast?
You
Yeah,
can,
okay.
dude.
Okay,
You fucking can, bro.
Okay. Our merch is through Night Shift merch in the States, and over in Europe, we're through Empiricon.
Okay.
Yep.
There you go,
Metal
guys.
Blade 2 has like our records if you want to pick up the vinyl or whatever.
Yeah, I saw you guys had 7-inch that you guys just released, and they're pretty much almost done, right?
Yeah, that was for that other project I did, Pallid Veil.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry, dude. I just saw that on our Instagram. I was thinking it was related to Revocation. So which band was that one?
That was the thing I did during the pandemic. It was me, Luke LeMay from Gorguts, Elliot from Carbomb, and
Oh,
Liam
yeah.
Yep.
Totally,
So
dude.
like it
I
was just like
remember
a
that.
one-off single, and Simon from Total Dissonance Worship just kind of hit me up out of the blue and was like, "Yo, I want to put this out and release a 7-inch," and we were all about it. So it's pretty crazy because it's like not like a new song; it's been out for a couple of years now, and like the vinyl's just been like flying. But the colors are like super cool, and it's like very limited. So
that happened in the pandemic, right?
Yeah, it was part of Frank from Metal Injection's Slay at Home series.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. He's like one of my best buds, and he hit me up right when that was happening, and he was like, "All right, I want to try to do some type of charity fundraiser type of thing." And a lot of people were doing like covers and stuff, and I don't know, I felt like I just needed to like write some original music.
Nice.
It's crazy like thinking back to then, because it seems like it was like another lifetime ago, but I remember for me, I needed to be like creative during that time period, and that was definitely like a great sort of outlet for me. And I was basically just able to put together like a dream team because like no one could tour, and I was just like, all right, can I just get this group of guys together and we can just write a song? And he was like, yeah, go for it.
No, I love
That's awesome.
love hearing those types of stories, dude, because there's guys like you that unfortunately when the pandemic happened, they lost all drive. They didn't do anything, creative. They kind of just you lost their mojo during that whole thing. I'm not pointing out anybody specifically, but with 8 billion people on this planet, I guarantee that happened to so many creative people when the pandemic happened, so when I hear the people who channeled that into a positive outlet, that they actually got something out of it, I just love hearing that somebody took advantage of that time, and got some heavy hitters on that track too, dude. I mean, that is definitely a super group.
Yeah, I was very fortunate that worked out, and we were all able to come together for that.
Now that we're talking about it, has there been conversation to move forward with writing anything with that group?
Not a ton. I mean, I know like Luke's obviously he's like got a lot of irons in the fire with like his, with Gorguts, and also he has like other like projects that he's always like working on in terms of like, I know he does like woodworking and like things outside of the music realm that keep him really occupied.
Right.
But for me, it would be great to, write some more music. So we'll see. It's sort of I think everyone went into it with it being a one-off, but seeing the success of the vinyl campaign that we just did and like the feedback that we're getting from people, because everyone's like, oh, when's like the full length coming out? So who knows? Maybe we'll write some more music down the line, but there's nothing like set in stone right now.
Is so just give us a real quick, I know this is Revocation themed episode mainly, but really it's a Davidson themed show. So I just need to know before we move on, because we're already in this realm, how did you guys all get together? Was it who was the driving force behind this? Talk about the conversations to make this happen.
Sure. Yeah. So Frank hit me up. I think he initially approached me under the sort of idea that like we were just going to do like a cover song or something like that. And yeah, for me, I wanted to do something original. And again, because everyone was home, I was like, hey, like I'd love to work with Luke from Gorguts and Elliot and Liam, and Frank just kind of like reached out to the dudes and like put it all together. And then from there, like it was pretty much like everyone was just down to write a song together. I had the first riff of the song. It wasn't actually the first riff in the actual song. It was, I think, the bridge riff or whatever. But that was sort of like the first idea that I sent over to Luke, and then Luke kind of created like a bunch of other riffs sort of around that, and then we just kind of kept trading files back and forth. I added like a solo in there, and like kind of like a little melody over one of his parts. But yeah, Luke wrote a bunch of stuff for that song. I ended up writing all the lyrics for the song. So that kind of helped keep the ball rolling because you know, I know like writing lyrics sometimes can be like a little bit difficult, but
Right.
I don't know, I was just kind of feeling it in that kind of bleak environment. And you know, obviously like Liam and Elliot are killer players, and they were just like throwing down stuff, and we were just kind of sending demos back and forth. And I think the whole thing kind of like it's crazy when you consider like sometimes it takes bands like, you know, years to put something out. I mean, basically like Frank hit me up, and I think like I don't know, 3 or 4 months later we had like the whole thing like recorded and like ready to go.
Right. How cool is that though, going back and forth with a legend like that in a creative way where you guys are bouncing ideas back and forth? I know obviously if you're going to create something, you can't let yourself fanboy out too much, but there had to have been a few times during those back and forths where you're like, oh shit, this is Luke LeMay that I'm dealing with right now. You know,
Yeah.
like we're going back and forth right now, and we're creating something together. There had to have been some centering point that in your mind where you're like, yeah, this is your current reality, Dave. You know?
Yeah, it was a trip, man. I love Gorguts. They're one of my favorite death metal bands of all time. I think Luke's just like a genius when it comes to writing music. My first tattoo ever was actually the harp skull from the Gorguts record Obscura.
Wow.
Which was like on like the CD face, like when you like open up the CD.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, it was just an honor to work with Luke. It was an honor to work with Liam and Elliot. I mean, just all like killer musicians across the board, all super unique. They all have their own style.
Oh, totally.
Really
Elliot's
like forward-thinking musicians. So yeah, I mean, it was just like an honor to be a part of that project. Luke's so cool because he's such like a legend and like a powerhouse of a guitar player and a composer and a vocalist as well. I mean, his voice is like so sick. But he just
very
like
standout.
Yeah, very standout. But he's such a cool guy too. Like he never like he never made me feel like he's just like one of those dudes who like doesn't vibe you out at all. He's just like super happy go lucky and like down to like, I don't know, just be creative.
We were very lucky to spend over 4 hours with him on his episode. It totally made you feel the same way the whole time, dude.
Fuck yeah.
He's a warm guy. And we've toured together before, so I already have a rapport with him, and it's awesome. He's like come out to see like Revocation play before when we like played like Montreal. He'll come out and like hang out. And yeah, he's just like a great dude. He's just like, Tabernacle, you know, he'll give you a hug.
Dude.
And he like goes into hiding and stuff for a while, then he comes back out of his
exactly. He'll go
hole,
into hibernation for a bit, and then he'll pop back out. But yeah, he's just an incredible player and an incredible human being. And it's just a trip because, like I said, he was such a big influence on me growing up. I remember watching, it was some like random guitar website, but it was like it was him and their bassist, and they were like going over like songs from Wisdom to Hate. This is like way back in the day, and it just like blew my mind, like his approach to like the guitar. Like he was playing inverted with that weird like pick tapping scrape thing that he does, and it just really inspired me to like look at the guitar kind of like as this like weird abstract sound source as well as bringing the theory into it. So
right.
Yeah,
I was just thinking about this.
A very unique approach.
I was just thinking about this the other day. He had mentioned, what were the Joel and Casey, you might be able to remind me, what were the rules that they followed, or what were the boundaries that they set up for Obscura?
No blast beats.
Blast beats and no speed picking, right?
Oh yeah, no tremolo.
No tremolo, no blast beats. Yeah. Just like for a death metal album, just breaking the mold,
taking out all the crutches, basically. Yeah. Those are the two main crutches right there for extreme metal, is blast beats and speed picking, right?
Speaking of speed picking, actually, I wanted to ask Dave just a side question, just because I have it on the top of my mind, because I watched that video of you falling and breaking your wrist, which I couldn't even. I saw you go down, and I just turned it off because I was like, I don't want to see what it looks like when it comes up. I didn't know if you like. Someone told me you kept playing after that or something.
Yeah,
or did you?
That.
How? So was it just pure adrenaline when you did that? And how's it doing now? Are you able to play now?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm back at it now.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been teaching and playing a bunch. Not like the full. I mean, I'm pretty actually close to my full range of motion. I've been doing like a lot of like wrist like stretching exercise and stuff like that. I've only been out of the cast for a couple of weeks, but it was actually pretty crazy. Well, I'll get to the first part of your question first. So yeah, when I fell, I've never broken a bone before, so I wasn't sure if I had broken it or if it was just like a bad sprain. But like, I knew like I fucked myself up like pretty good. And yeah, I guess like adrenaline just kicked in, but it was kind of crazy because the song we close with, it was right before our last song. The song we close with is of Unworldly Origin, which is like probably like one of the fastest songs in the set, and it's just like an onslaught of like trem picking like the entire time, and it has like one of the most like difficult solos in the whole set as well. Shit. So it was definitely like, okay, here we go. I'm in for it now.
How did your wrist react though to like tremolo picking? Was it like a wet noodle, or was it tight? Or?
I mean, I'm sure I've played like tighter before, but like I got through the set, but as soon as I got off stage, I think that's like when it really hit me. Like once the adrenaline was like wearing off, like I couldn't even like wrap a cable. I was just like in so much pain. It was like starting to swell up and stuff. And my other bandmates were like, "Oh, you probably just sprained it," because like they're like, "There'd be no way you could play if it was actually broken."
Yeah.
But my bassist Brett, like he grew up like street skating, so he's broken like a bunch of bones. So he came up and was like, "Can
death
you
metal musician
move your wrist at all?" And I was like, "Yeah," and just like couldn't move it even like a little bit. And he was just like, "I don't want to see like a doctor tomorrow." So yeah, I went in and they took the X-ray and they're like, "Yeah, you broke your wrist and you can't play for 6 weeks. You got to be in the cast and all this stuff." So that sucked. But
you just stuck as vocalist, right? You did vocals only for the rest
I
of
just
the
did
tour?
vocals for the rest of the set. I was debating going home, but I'm like, all right, if I'm in a sling and just like taking care of it, like I don't know, like I might as well be out on the road and like performing. And in a way, I think it was good for like my mental health, because like I feel like if I just like went home and just sat there for like 3 weeks like doing nothing, and I don't know,
it would have fucked with you, dude.
Yeah, at least I could.
When you knew that you were supposed to be out on the road, it would have fucked with you that whole time, dude.
Right. I just
I've left a tour. I left a tour with these guys. I missed one date, and the whole time that I was gone, I didn't feel I was in place. I felt out of place with everything that I was doing, So that on top of looking at which by the way, a broken bone will give you depression in general. Just you're like, oh dude, I'm broken. Like that natural thing is going to happen too. So you got the broken aspect of it, plus you're not on tour. It definitely will send you.
And he can't work on music if he does like go home. He can't jam.
And it was my dominant hand too, so just doing fucking anything sucked.
You had to switch hit on the beating it and all that stuff.
And that's that. Also, shout out to skateboarders, man. Like I have like a lot of friends that would always film videos. They're jumping all the stairs and doing all this shit. And like one of my friends, he broke his arm like so many times in his wrist. Like he's just like, yeah, I went and then just I had like a broken thing for like a year and I didn't even know. It's like a hairline thing and didn't heal right. And then it's all it's crazy.
It's crazy. But
we try to adapt.
Like when I went to go get the cast off, I went to see like an occupational therapist or whatever, and she was having me do all these exercises, like, okay, like put, hug your elbow to your body and like rotate your forearm and do all these different things. And she was just like, oh, like you're not supposed to be able to do that yet. You're like way ahead of the game. And like by the end of it, she was like, all right, take this hammer and just kind of like twist it around. I'm like, all right. So I was able to do like all these exercises, and it kind of like blew her mind. Like a lot of people were like, oh, your arm's going to be atrophied and you're, all this stuff. But like, I don't know. I've had like 20 years of like really conditioning.
How old are you?
Very like small muscles and like fine motor movements like in my hand. So it wasn't like I was out of commission for like 3 months or something like that. It was 6 weeks and I took good care of myself. And the great thing was like the doctor was like, yeah, probably like a lot of your like physical therapy is going to be like playing guitar. So
hey, dude, the new thing is get moving as soon as you can. So if you're a guitar player you should be jumping back into guitar as soon as you can.
Yeah.
Because if that's the way, those are the muscle groupings that you use to play guitar need to be like, they can't be out of commission for a certain amount of time, because then you're either working yourself back up. You may never even get to where you were after that, because things change, bones change and get in the way of muscles and shit like that. So you need to just fucking get moving as soon as you can, dude. And I totally forgot what I was going to say before I went into this rant, and here I am.
It's
132, guys. Episode 132.
It's weird. Sometimes stuff's
that's
like
what I was gonna say, Dave. What's your age, bro? How old are you?
I'm 36.
Okay, so you're still young, which that like the younger you are, you're gonna heal quicker. My kids heal like half that time with a broken bone.
Yeah.
It's crazy, dude. My oldest, he broke his arm. 4 weeks, it was like nothing even happened, and he didn't even feel pain during the time he was in the cast too. I'm like, so being, in your 30s still, but also being healthy in your 30s, you look like you take care of yourself enough to where you're gonna heal a lot quicker, especially when you bounce back. You put it in the sling and just leave it there, then you're gonna have a lot more weeks of getting back to normal.
Yeah, and bones are kind of a crazy thing. They just like find a way to like stitch themselves back together. Like, I mean, part of it, like obviously, like breaking a bone is an unlucky thing to happen, but the type of break that I had, I think was pretty lucky, because it was called non-displaced, meaning like they didn't have to reset the bone. So like a lot of times when you hear those like horror stories of someone like really fucking themselves up and they need like pins and plates and all that kind of stuff, like really like reconstructive shit.
Right.
Like Bill,
that's when it can be trickier and can take a longer time to heal. Not to say that you can't. Obviously, like plenty of people have like just like people that are like half cyborgs, like walking around now with like some like. I'm surprised like Brett doesn't have any of that stuff, because he's like again like broken a bunch of stuff, and I don't think he has really like any. I don't think he has any like plates or screws in him. But it was weird. Like when I broke my wrist, so many like people seeing me in the cast, like people would come up and like friends of mine that like I never knew had like injuries, and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, dude, check it out." And they'd like show me the scar. They'd be like, "Yeah, like 4 pins in there or whatever." I'm like, "Oh, like I never would have even known." So, it is pretty miraculous how the body can heal itself, even like if you need like an intervention and things to be kind of like reconstructed. But like I said, I got pretty lucky considering that they didn't need to like reset anything. And even the doctor, when I went to go see him, was like, yeah, you're lucky, because these normally like the type of break that I had normally does require surgery. So for whatever reason, just like how I fell and how I broke it, just
got lucky.
It fractured it, but it didn't like move out of place. So I got lucky.
Hell yeah, dude. It is crazy how bones can be like naturally welded back together by our body, dude. Isn't that fucking trip, dude? Like somehow whatever makes a bone if we need to bring it back together, our body will create it and put it right where it needs to be, even though you're going to end up with it. I'm looking at my hand right now, because at a young age I had boxer's fracture, punched something hard out of anger, broke my fucking hand. It's a very common
Is it drywall?
No, it was actually a floor. I punched the floor. I tripped and fell on the ground, and out of anger punched the floor and broke my hand. Yes, this is a mistake I made in my early 20s, but I do have the screws, and I feel this hand. There's so much more bone or whatever my body uses to like weld it back together. If you grab my hand, there's so much more bone material right here. And there is that scar that he was just talking about. It's so funny. He met so many people who had surgery, and I'm like, I'm one of those motherfuckers, right? Yeah. And I'll have 2 screws in my hand for the rest of my life that have been they've been covered by bone material. So like if for any reason I needed these screws out of my hand right now
to break your hand,
they'd have to cut away all the shit that my body has naturally put in place to get to those screws, you know?
Damn.
It's wild.
The
Yeah,
human body is
the body's a
fucking
crazy
crazy.
thing, right?
It
Yeah,
is.
definitely.
Yeah.
And that's rad as fuck that we have that built into us too,
Yeah.
the
I
healing
think
aspect.
if I'm not mistaken, like bone marrow is like where like a lot of like the adult like stem cells come from in terms of like blood reproduction and all that kind of stuff. That's why I think when people need like have like some type of like blood cancers or whatever, like they oftentimes get like bone marrow transfusions, and that like helps to kind of create more of the stem cells. So I guess maybe that's one of the reasons why bones kind of are like how it was explained to me. It's like, breaking a bone, I mean, obviously it sucks, but it's actually like a little bit easier to heal, assuming it is non-displaced, than like if you like really like tore like tendons and ligaments. Like those take like longer to heal often.
And
So yeah, I wonder if
a
it's
lot.
due to like the stem cell kind of element of the bone marrow, if it just is maybe I don't know, easier to kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Like
No, I don't
reproduce
know
those cells to like heal it up.
Regenerate.
Regenerate is the word.
Yeah, that's what
regenerate.
So the Death Metal Dr. Drew podcast.
It's the weed, guys, I swear.
All right, let's get into the
Yeah,
meat
dude,
and the
we haven't
potatoes.
even gotten into. I love this, all of this. I love starting the show like this, just bullshit.
Talking about
this is all great
science.
stuff. This is all
Wolverine
the real stuff
shit,
that we. Yeah, dude.
Wolverine shit.
Don't even say that, dude. Because when I was a kid, that's exactly what I wanted.
Like, Wolverine, dude.
I wanted that, dude. I would stare at my hand and be like, I want blades.
Wolverine for sure has the coolest, or I think the most practical. I mean, like the blades aside, just like his regeneration,
and what if it, see the bone, what it's made of? What's his
adamantium?
There you go.
That's right. Yeah.
His bones weren't made of that. They put it onto his skeleton, and the only reason he could get that transfusion, he was like a military experiment. But the only reason they could do that is because he regenerates so quickly.
Okay.
Right.
Damn.
Dude, fucking comic books are so sick, dude.
Cyclops is the worst power, though, for sure.
Oh yeah, because you have no control over it, right?
Yeah, he's just lasers shooting out of his eyes.
Oh yeah, he has to get like a cover to like he gets a filter to like.
Yeah, it's horrible. You just always have to wear glasses around, like a protective, like non-laser eye glasses, like.
Well, dude, I mean, the coolest thing about comic books is the origin story, and we need your origin story, dude. So take us back in time, dude. Take us to childhood. And Boston was where you grew up your whole life?
Yep.
All right, dude. So take us back to childhood in Boston. Young buck, you're 36, so you're
20 years ago
coming into fruition at 1986.
Yep, correct.
All right. Yep. So talk about what was going on in the early years. We like that first connection with art or music, dude. Think about that early memory of connecting with one of the two or both.
So, I mean, what got me into playing guitar was Aerosmith, actually. I was just like watching like MTV like one day back when they used to play like music videos, and I think actually MTV is just like done for now. I think.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah.
Really? Completely?
Completely done. Yeah. Wow. Anyway, so yeah, I was watching like an Aerosmith music video, and I saw like Joe Perry like ripping this awesome solo on the Les Paul, and I don't know, it just like looked so cool to me. And I was 12 years old, and pretty much the next day, like I asked my mom to buy me a guitar. So
you were 12 at that time?
Yeah, I was 12.
Okay, so I'm just gonna rewind you just for a second. I want to know what your parents were listening to in the household. Like, what's the type of music that kind of because that really sets the foundation. You know, the stuff that you're gonna connect to while your parents are jamming out at home. You know,
to be honest with you, like I didn't really grow up in like a musical like household.
Okay.
Like I think my mom would like listen to like the radio or whatever. Like we had like Jammin' 94.5 was like the the local radio station when that was like playing like Ace of Base and shit like that, like back in the day. But
I'm down with Ace of Base.
Yeah, we had a piano, but like no one played it. There wasn't like a ton of like, we didn't have like like a record player that was in use. Like there was a record player in the house, but like I don't think anyone like played an album on it ever. So yeah, it wasn't really like a musical household that I grew up in. I know sometimes like people like that become musicians become one because like their mom or their dad played like violin or guitar or piano, but that wasn't really the case for me. I think most stuff that I discovered was like kind of more on my own.
That's
cool,
dude.
They certainly like nurtured me and like and encouraged me to follow my passion, which was great.
Right.
But yeah, it wasn't really like, if you like, I don't even know, like my mom really had like a favorite artist back then or anything like that. Yeah. So,
well, I mean, yeah, that's actually cool too, especially being, exposed to your art as much as I have, to know that, there was really no early influence other than yourself. That's actually a more rare thing we hear after 132 episodes on the show. There usually is at least one factor that kind of steers the artist in a direction at a young age, so discovering it on your own, that's a pretty cool thing, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, for me it just kind of always like resonated with me. Like I loved music as a kid. I mean, even before I got into Aerosmith, like they were like my sort of first like obsession where like I wanted to like play like guitar and stuff. But like, I mean, before that, I was like obsessed with Weird Al. I just thought Weird Al was like the
hell yeah, dude,
coolest. I still think Weird Al is awesome.
Oh, I'm definitely 100% back it. I would be elbow to elbow with you at a Weird Al show right now, bro.
Yeah, I saw
100%. 100%.
Yeah, I saw him play at the Cape Cod Melody Tent like when I was a kid, and I just like lost my mind. So yeah, I mean, there was that, and then I guess in terms of like, I mean, I love art now, and I've studied the different artistic time periods, in college a little bit, and I love going to museums when I'm on tour. So I definitely have, I guess, developed my my knowledge and understanding of modern art and like classic artists and stuff like that. But I wasn't really, obviously, when I was a kid, like didn't know who like Rembrandt was or anything like that. But I guess in terms of I was more into like film, specifically like horror movies. So I was like obsessed with horror movies when I was like a very, very young child. Like my mom should not have been renting me the movies that I wanted to see at Blockbuster.
Dude.
But like I literally begged her, like I wouldn't like leave the store unless she would rent like Freddy Krueger or like Nightmare on Elm Street. Like I just like I was just thinking, I think it was like covers. I don't know, like those old VHS horror movies had just such awesome covers. It's probably why I love death metal art so much and all that. Like, but literally, she'd be like, "David, I'm not gonna like rent you this." And I would like just beg her, in the Blockbuster, and then she'd be like, "Fine, I'll get you that." And it's funny, the one movie that like fucked me up was and she always like talks about this, was Little Shop of Horrors, which is not like a scary movie, but I think my brain.
I was waiting for something way harder than that, dude.
No, I would watch like fucking Jason and like Friday the 13th.
This is my thing. I guarantee there's like one scene in that movie that you had such a vehement like response to.
I just don't think I understood that it was like satirical, and I didn't get that it was like a musical. Like there was just like there was all these other things in there sprinkled in that my like young child brain like it wasn't like it wasn't computing. I wasn't like getting the reference for it. Like I didn't understand that it was like supposed to be campy. I was just like, what? Like, why is this plant
eating people,
and why are they breaking into like? And I think there was like a weird like.
And why is the guy from Honey I Shrunk the Kids
like,
making it happen, dude? He's literally like he started it off by feeding it his blood.
Right.
That it was a tiny little plant, and he's like feeding it his blood, and then it grows up to be a cannibalistic fucking. Or not a cannibalistic, because obviously it's not eating; it's eating us.
Right.
A carnivorous plant.
Yeah.
Shout out to my first band. What up?
That's what that's about. Oh, nice. Dave, what's your favorite horror movie of all time? If you had to pick one favorite horror movie.
Now that's a good. That's
Okay, top
impossible
two.
for me.
Top
pick.
two.
I-
There's a
I
top
can't do-
tie.
I can't do it because there's sci-fi horror. I mean, I can run down a few that I think are awesome.
Let's hear them.
Go for it.
Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
dude, that's fun.
first of all, like I gotta give it like, I don't know. I think Freddy is one of like the best horror
Yeah.
movie villains. of
Freddy's
all
the only
time.
one that actually got into my dreams.
Johnny Depp, bro.
There you go.
Actually
His
got into my dreams.
one-liners and like all the effects and stuff like that. It's super fun.
What's the one where he ate people off the pizza?
Was that 5?
Yeah, it's way in there. It's way deep into
the
the lore,
Um,
but that one turned into a actual dream for me where I was eaten on a pizza.
Oh
dude.
damn, I got you.
And
dude.
you're Italian. It's
I
kinda
was
funny.
a little sausage. I was a little Sicilian sausage ball. Dude.
Wow. Okay.
So there's
A little
that. I mean,
Sazitza. You know what I'm saying?
Dude.
sci-fi horror though. Like, I mean, I love Alien.
Yeah.
Just incredible. The
Ridiculous.
Thing I loved.
The Thing.
I love the psychological component of that, where like you don't know like who's an alien and who's not, and also just like
For sure.
the special effects in that were so cool. Like just
Yeah.
I'll never forget like that one scene where like the head like bursts out of the dude's, or sorry, it was like like kind of like an alien. They're doing like the defibrillator on the guy, and his like chest like turns into a mouth, and then like the head pops
shit.
off, and like spider legs come out, and it like skitters away. Just one of like I think like the best one of the best scenes in
Pet Cemetery
history.
2. The fucking sister scene, dude. Whatever her name is, the sick sister that's kept in a room in the house. I don't remember. I haven't seen it for so long because I'm actually fucking probably still traumatized from this movie, dude. But Pet Cemetery 2, there's this like backstory about this sick sister that scene just fucked me up as a kid, dude. I was at a friend's house. And it's such a it's such a weird thing to have such a great experience and a horrible experience at the same time, because she served us bacon grilled cheese, dude. Bacon grilled cheese. I've never had anything as decadent as bacon grilled cheese at that time in my life, dude. So I get to serve this bacon grilled cheese, and then she starts Pet Cemetery 2, dude. I'm like 7, 8.
Jesus.
And I'm eating this bacon grilled cheese, and we get to this scene, and I'm like, I can't enjoy this anymore. I'm almost like sick to my stomach as a child. So anytime I think of bacon grilled cheese, because American food is always like, oh, dude, let's throw bacon on top of a grilled cheese. I'm like, Pet Cemetery 2, dude. Scary sister, dude.
Comes up.
Well,
Any fucking time bacon and grilled cheese is in the same mix, immediately thinking about that scene, dude.
you know what's rad is like dudes like John Carpenter, for example, with The Thing and all that, like compose music and like direct movies at the same time. And his music is so good. Like it's like rad fucking soundtrack shit, like electronic like soundtrack music. And it's
Damn, I didn't know he did both.
Yeah, dude, he does both.
Jesus.
It's I have like some of his albums on my Apple Music thing, and it's fucking.
Mine's quick. For the one that fucked me up was the Rathacon, where the fucking thing goes in the guy's ear. That little slug thing. That little. Like when I was a little kid, that fucked me up for like. That was the only scene where I was like, I was a child. My dad was like a Star Trek like nerd and had like walls of all the VHS tapes. Remember when that like he showed me that, I was like, sick, dude. That's the rest of my life. I'm fucked. I got that in my head forever.
That's par for the course to have walls of VHS tapes at your fucking house, especially in New Mexico.
Seriously, dude. But yeah, that still fucks with me.
All right, I like a lot of like the French horror films too, like Martyrs. I think is
fantastic.
Oh,
dude, you literally just were in my head. You're in my head now. 5 minutes ago, when I was like, he likes horror, I want to start talking about Martyrs. I want to start talking about Inside. I want to start talking about all this French horror shit that fucked me. That like literally, I've watched Inside. Okay, I watched it with my wife at the time. She was just my girlfriend, and after it finished, I was like, "Are you okay?" She was just like, "Don't touch me. You know, I was like, that was my first, like, oh shit, dude, somebody like really had like a deep connection with a movie that I'm sitting with. Like they are so like just appalled by what they just seen. They can't, they need to be in their little bubble. So then I try and show that to friends of ours on a Halloween one time. And within the first 5 minutes of Inside, the girl of the couple that we were watching with, she had to run to the bathroom and throw up.
Wow.
And I was like, holy shit, dude, I must be fucking fucked up now because this stuff doesn't even bother me anymore, you know?
You're like, what's everyone all upset about?
and then I was like, it's okay. I'll just put on Halloween. We just put on like the original Halloween, and she was fine after that. But something about French horror, they hit this very human and finite aspect of being human, you know, just like how gnarly things can be.
Ever seen Ichi the Killer?
Oh,
That was a gnarly one too, dude.
That's one I haven't actually seen, but I know a lot of people talk about it. Yeah.
But Martyrs, dude, Dave, I know I'm gonna do a shout out right now. The first time I ever watched the movie Martyrs was in Maddie Way's living room. And it was one of those, holy shit, dude. It was kind of like you're on a roller coaster and there's certain times where you're white knuckling that bitch. You got to hang on really tight to get through certain parts of it, you know? And Martyrs was one of those later things after being so desensitized by everything that I've seen that actually took me back to, oh shit, I actually do need to white knuckle a few scenes. There's a few scenes in it or like Irreversible. Like,
oh god, I was hoping you wouldn't bring that up.
I know, but it's just like those are the scenes that unfortunately are the ones that, for the people that are so desensitized by all the crazy shit that we've seen in our early 20s, like those are the things that we are gonna get those same. The only way we're gonna get those same reactions out of the thing is when it's just that extreme, you know.
Yeah, it's a Martyrs is just a brutal film.
Brutal.
Yeah, something about the French approach to horror. It's like legitimately horrifying. I don't know, like it's
something that can actually happen.
Yeah, there's like a psychological component to it that's I mean, it's just like dark. Like I remember like after I watched Martyrs, like for days, it was just like stuck with me. Where normally like if I'll watch like a horror movie, I'm like, okay, cool, like there was some cool kill scenes or some, you know, whatever, like that was a cool twist there, like a couple of jump scares, but like I don't know, there's just like a depravity to like Martyrs that like really like affected me on like a,
and the way that it's
level.
left open at the very end.
Yeah, there's no yeah, I don't want to spoil it for anyone that's listening, but
right.
Yeah, definitely watch that.
That being left open with that, you're just like, and then the closing sequence with all the credits and photos and all that shit that they're showing, it definitely is not a movie that is supposed to leave you with any closure or comfort or anything like that. You are totally left. You feel naked. You feel alone. What the fuck is Joel doing over there? Is he laughing at me?
My cat was attacking. No, I was laughing at you. No, my cat was attacking me. I was laughing at you.
I mean, I could go on.
So, anyways, bringing it back to the timeline.
No, you guys are scared to fucking talk real film shit.
You were into horror, and so when did that inspire you?
I like the horror thing.
No, I'm being
for sure. No, I'm down. Yeah, I was just trying to get back on the timeline, and me and Casey made a joke, and we left.
All right, let's get back to the teenage.
We can talk about horror movies for. I mean,
I know, dude. Don't even get into comedies; they'll be all day. So
the best part.
I also want to say one more.
Yeah.
You talk about all you want.
And if I have a reaction to it, you guys can't cut me off. Okay, here we go.
We could mute you.
You better fucking not, dude.
I'm
fucking done with the mute so hard, dude.
Here we go. So yeah, what was that one? No. Oh, sorry, Dave.
Oh, Skinamarink. That movie is really
I've never
weird.
seen that one. What is that?
It's like pretty new. It's like, I don't know, very, very bizarre.
Is it French horror again, or
No, it's not French.
Oh, okay.
it just feels like a childhood nightmare. I don't know.
I mean, that being called Skidamarink, I'm thinking of the song Skidamarink, you dinky dink, Skidamarink, you do, and then but hearing that in a creepy way, you know,
Yeah,
that would be some nightmare shit.
it's definitely like watch it with like all the lights off and just I don't know. It's kind of reminds me of like Blair Witch a little bit in terms of like the found footage element, but it's
Yeah.
not like documentary. It's not documentary style. It just I don't know. It's just really weird. There's like barely any dialogue in it. It's kind of like an artsy film, I guess, but it's very experimental. I'll put it that way. And it's just like you watch it. If you watch the trailer, like you'll maybe get like an idea of it.
I have a feeling that you and I need to talk more after this episode because they're already getting. I feel like I could just go on to movies forever. I already can tell. So I'm gonna hold.
Well, he did mention Blair Witch. I remember Blair Witch. I thought someone told me that when I went into it, someone was like, "Dude, this is fucking recovered footage. This is," and so I went into it thinking it was real.
Everyone thought that.
No, I went into it like, "What the fuck?" And then how it like ends at the very end, I was like, "What the fuck? They found this footage. This is insane. This is like the craziest thing I've ever seen." And then it's like, "Oh, it's fake." It's like, "Fuck you guys!" Like I was so mad. I was walking out of that theater so freaked out. Like that was the craziest thing I've ever seen. Like.
I wonder the percentage of people that went to see that movie thinking it was real found footage. That would be a good thing, or not a good thing, but just a stat.
Half.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is when you see like a horror movie or something like, and you're like going back over old ones that are classics or whatever, and you're like, oh yeah, and then like you all of a sudden hear a sample that I've heard that from like a death metal album, like
Oh yeah,
like I was watching, I was like, oh, Human Waste intro, like Suffocation, that's Hellraiser 2 or whatever, like oh no.
Yeah.
There's some part
your brain just clicks to it.
Oh, it's weird, like getting that reference first from like a death metal album and then watching the movie like later on or something and
putting it together.
Might have seen it when I was younger, but
or being a death metal guy and then watching The Burbs and being like, oh, dude, that's a Skinless intro. Like Skinless was able to use like humorous intros, you know.
Definitely.
Dave, have you seen the new Evil Dead movie?
I have not. No, is it any good?
I haven't seen it.
Wait, how new is it? I saw
like 2 months ago or a month ago. No, like less than
no.
Yeah. It was like the sequel to like, well, I don't know. It's like the second like new one. There was like a new one, but like, you know, I don't know, like years ago, like actually, a while ago. And I like
Bruce Campbell in it or
no? It's like did you see that like remake one or whatever? It was.
I saw the remake one. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah. I liked it. I thought it was sick. It was totally different than like the old ones.
I've only seen 1 and 2, and then Army of Darkness.
And they got Ash versus Evil Dead, which is like a continuation of that Sam Raimi.
Is that a show
vibe? Yeah, dude.
I watched the whole show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think I watched all of it. But and Sam Raimi is great. Like, you know, like he just like Drag Me to Hell and stuff. Have you seen that?
I've heard of it.
That's a good one. That's Sam Raimi as well. You know, same director, and he did Spider-Man and shit. Also, I didn't realize all that. But
but up a little bit.
Yeah,
but
like I want to see the newest Evil Dead. I don't know if it's good or not, but that was
the point. You guys were trying to center us on the timeline, and now I'm doing it. Let's get back on.
Nice.
I know. Now that we've talked about, now that I listen, isn't that funny? How egotistical I am, where I'm like, oh dude, I'm talking now, so no, this can go as long as I can, but as soon as I hear other people die, I'm like, oh wait, no, we need to talk about Dave again.
At least you recognize it.
I know, I'm recognizing it. I'm sorry guys.
I'll hope in therapy.
This is my therapy.
Fuck yeah.
All right, Dave, let's get back on
by the hour, guys.
Exactly. Yeah, is all.
Let's talk about teenage years, dude. So you got the guitar, and Aerosmith was the main factor. Like
Steve Perry.
But let's talk about maybe the first riff you learned. You were like, oh shit, I figured out one riff, you know. And then also getting into how things got more extreme for you. What teenage years were like coming through high school? Who were the people you were meeting along the way that may have been feeding you some more extreme stuff, like the building the progression towards being in an extreme death metal band is it's not like you just jump from point A to point B, you know?
Right. Yeah. So yeah, 12. I started off with Aerosmith. I think the opening riff to "Walk This Way" was like the first thing that I learned. And then from there, I got into like Guns N' Roses. They just seemed like a little bit more heavy, a little bit more extreme. Certainly, like maybe a little bit more like technical from like a guitar playing standpoint. I remember I had the Guns N' Roses like live in Japan. It was like a 2 VHS set. It was like 3.5 hour long concert or whatever. Or maybe they played multiple nights and it was a collection from the 2 nights. But either way, I mean, like both of those tapes were like an hour and half long or whatever. So I remember I would just like come home from school and just like literally just put those on like every day and like get my guitar out. And it's kind of almost like how I learned to like play power chords like Slash, because he uses like his pinky when he's moving around. And I was like, oh yeah, that's kind of like, that feels comfy for me. And I would like learn like little licks. I wasn't like learning like the solos note for note, but there were like some like crucial licks here and there. Plus he did like 2 fully extended like 5-minute long like guitar solos in those VHSs. So, you know, learned licks from there and just kind of like got, I don't know, just super into Guns N' Roses, went down that rabbit hole for a while. And then after that, it was Pantera. They were like kind of like my gateway drug into like, you know, real like heavy sounding shit. Remember like going to see like Pantera live like multiple times, and they'd have like Morbid Angel opening and like shit like
I
that.
saw that same thing. So that same tour, that was awesome.
Yep. So that was like kind of my introduction to like death metal and black metal. I mean, like on some of those old posters, like Phil would be wearing like Mayhem shirts and stuff like that, or Satyricon shirts, or I Hate God shirts, and you know, all these like different bands, and like Crowbar, like I don't know, there was just so many branches, I feel like, from like Pantera as a band, because like they were kind of like repping like a bunch of different band shit constantly and taking like a lot of cool bands on tour. I mean, they could go on tour just like by themselves and like sell out stadiums like at that point. So it was cool that they would bring out like kind of more underground acts. So and then like once I got into like the underground, like I was probably like, I want to say like 15, 16 years old. Just like the floodgates like opened up. I was listening to like X-Hoarder and Dark Angel and Forbidden, like really going down like the old school, but like kind of off the beaten path, like thrash bands, like I was mentioning, like Dark Angel and shit, and like just like a million riffs on those records, and they were all like incredible. And then at the same time, like really getting into bands like, you know, like classic death metal bands, of course, like Cannibal Corpse and Morbid Angel. And then like, you know, melodic death metal, like In Flames. Like I remember like the first time I heard In Flames, like I think it was Colony, and it just like,
hell
almost,
yeah,
like,
Colony was mine too.
Yeah, it like didn't compute to me at first. I was like, well, this sounds so like happy and epic, and then like there's a dude screaming over it. But of course, like now, like and like, you know, soon after hearing it, like I kind of really fully embraced that, and you know, I just love how melodic they were able to be, and yeah, I don't know, just like they brought a totally different kind of approach to death metal, and it was just so like fresh to my ear at the time. I was just like, it like blew my mind, literally. I was just like, oh my god, I can't believe you can do this in death metal.
For me, it's very similar to, not sorry to cut you off, but it's very similar what you're talking about, like seeing. I saw one time, I was like, you know, went to the Pantera phase, then Slayer, and I saw Kerry King wearing a Haunted shirt, and I was like, huh, I see that logo. I'm seeing it more and more, and I bought it. Bought the Haunted, made me do it, and then went backwards and got the At the Gates, you know, and then like went kind of backwards and got In Flames and stuff like that. And just, it's like seeing the shirts. And another shout out to you, Dave, that's on the top of my mind. I saw a reel of you or something came through my feed, and it was like death metal bands you need to, that are underground, that need more respect or something like that. And I think you mentioned Anata. Like you mentioned Anata. Yeah. And I was like, damn, dude, like I haven't heard anyone talk about them. They're like one of my favorite bands from the old school. And like, I think you might have said Theory and Practice too, but I'm not sure. But Theory and Practice and Anata, those are like the two that like I've been trying to get them on here forever, but they're just like, I don't know what to talk about. I'm like, dude, fucking talk your ear off. Like,
we'll talk your ear off. Yeah, let us talk. Dude.
It's like, no, but shout out for like, it was like a big, like I might have been a Metal Injection interview or something where you talked about
Revolver.
A Revolver, even bigger. I mean, I was like, fuck yeah, someone needs to give. But I can tell you kind of, so starting from now, you kind of went deeper into like kind of the underground technical realm.
Yeah. Like after I kind of laid down like a good solid base of like, you know, a lot of like the classic stuff. And again, like I'm like a teenager, the like Napster and all that stuff is like just popping off. So like,
Right,
you know, I'm
right.
like plugged into the information
Mhm,
superhighway of death
mhm.
metal, for lack of a better term. So it's just like, I mean, every week I'm discovering stuff, and I had that real hunger too. Like, you know, the older you get, life happens, and there's more and more things competing for our time. But I mean, for me, it was just like I was fucking obsessed with
Yeah, dude.
all forms of extreme metal. So, and not just like, you know, listening to it online. I mean, you know, nowadays, like I'm gonna sound like an old man, but like, you know, there's like a lot of like instant gratification. Something comes out, you just listen to it on Spotify. I mean, like that like wasn't the case like when I was growing up. So I mean, I remember like
Neither for us.
buying like, you know, the X Hoarder, the Law on CD, and like, you know, I was like
Whoa.
waiting, checking the mail like every day for it to like show up. And then like, you know, when you finally get it after waiting so long, it's not like you're just like listening to one track and like skipping to your next playlist. Like, I mean, I would sit down and like smoke a ton of weed and just like listen to that record over and over again,
Which,
and
as
really
a
absorb it, you know?
as a listener, if we just mentioned Pantera and you think of how original Pantera is, if you listen to Ex Hoarder's The Law, you'll find that there's very deep similarities in a lot of aspects of those bands. When, you know, I didn't come across Ex Hoarder until later, and listening to The Law, I kind of almost had this moment of like, oh, dude, Pantera isn't as original as I thought it was, you know, because that I think that there was this wavelength that was happening. I you may know more about it than me, Dave, but it was happening right around the same time, and it does seem like, I don't know, there might have been some influence back and forth between both of those bands. I don't know how much they would want to admit, but there's no denying certain aspects of The Law and early Pantera, and the fact that they were very close to each other. They had to have crisscrossed, you know?
Yeah, I'm sure they were touring the same circuits. I remember reading about that a little bit online, how like there was some influence there. Um, but yeah, I mean, that I don't know. The Law to me is, I think it's one of the best thrash metal records like ever written. It's so
It's
aggressive and
very
like in your
good,
face. I mean,
dude.
to me, it's as heavy as like a ripping death metal record. It's just like so fucking
Mhm.
pissed off, and there's so much attitude there, which I really liked. And like Kyle Thomas's delivery as a vocalist really inspired me. Like, I don't know, he had almost like a rock and roll swagger to how he like delivered certain lines, which you know, you don't normally hear in like extreme metal, because it's kind of always like at one level of like ultimate intensity the whole time. But I don't know, he was like kind of like sassy with how he said shit, and I just always like loved that.
Mhm.
So anyway, you know, went from that, and then like even like black metal, like, you know, getting into like Emperor and like Immortal. I even was like into like the dude from Theory and Practice's like side project black metal band called Mutant, which was like
I remember that.
one-off band. Got into, I remember like there was a radio station. It was like Friday or Saturday nights at like 11 or midnight. It would come on. They played like death metal for an hour. It's called Nasty Habits. It was in
Nice.
yeah, it was like a, you know, local like Boston like college radio station, and they would play like all this like cool underground shit. And again, it was sort of a different era there where it wasn't like that instant gratification. You could like automatically like look something up. And I remember I don't know, just super baked, like going to sleep listening to that. And this band came on, and it was a technical death metal band, and it fucking melted my brain. Like, and it was one of those situations where it came on, and it was like right when I was falling asleep. So like, I don't know, there's like some weird thing that happens to your brain where you're
Oh,
like kind of
totally.
in and out of that kind of lucid state. So it
Yeah.
just made it like even more trippy, and it just sounded like a nightmare, but like in the best way possible. And I didn't get the name of the band.
Whoa.
So I like had to go like a whole week where I'm like, what the fuck was this? And I'm like, I hope they play this again next week. And
Yeah.
I listened to it. And it was Spawn of Possession Cabinet.
Yes.
Wow.
That's my favorite album of all time.
Oh my god, it's just so goddamn
So
good.
fucking good.
I know.
It's a masterpiece, you know.
Dennis was telling me the other day that like part of the kick drum sound on that was like he was like hitting like a block of wood or something, or like what was he telling me? He was hitting, he like then they sampled it in, and then it's just like, but it's like natural. I don't know, it's some weird like crazy ass shit.
What's crazy about that? I remember because Dennis was on the podcast. It was one of the like earlier podcasts and stuff, and he was saying basically they were so tight back then. They just went in and kind of played that live. What the fuck? That's like the most like to me. I remember that was in my CD player. I've talked about this a million times, but it's in my car and for 6 months, and I did not take that out because I remember same thing that happened to you. Kind of, my friend put it on, and we were just trying to find the craziest thing we could find, you know. And he put this on. It was just a random CD store purchase. When we're driving away from the CD store, puts it in, and we're both silent. We're just like, what happened? Like, I don't understand what's going on. Like, it's kind of like it's like way above my wavelength. I'm like, I don't. And I just like got out of the car, so I'm like, "Thank you, dude. All right, take it easy." And like the next day, I called him and was like, "What the fuck? What was that spawn of possession? Can you burn me that immediately?" Yeah, it was like 2002 or 3 or something. He burned that for me, and I was just obsessed. Like, I thought. I remember they were like they announced they were coming on tour, and I was like, "You got to get." They like went on sale, and I bought tickets immediately. I'm like, "They're gonna sell out, dude. They're gonna sell out. Everyone's gonna." And there was like 20 people there, but like I was like, I was like got it like 3 months in advance. Yeah,
people's perception of shit when like you're like so into stuff, like, and then you realize it's just such a small like niche genre.
Yeah,
but they blew my mind. You know, a lot of bands like that I was discovering in that really technical scene. I don't know. It just caught my ear. It was super musical sounding. Like Anada is another example. Just like a total gem of a band. I wish they put out that record on that was supposed to come out on Earache. I don't know. It seems like it's like lost to the fucking sands of time or something. But hopefully it'll come out one of these days or see the light. Or if someone knows those guys, just tell them.
Because Conductors was the last one, right?
No, that was, but I remember on MySpace they like had like demos out, and I remember like there being like
I kind of remember this too.
I don't know, press release or something like that. I mean, I was like really like following that band pretty damn closely, and I remember they were saying they were working on a follow up, and like I heard a demo, and and then nothing. So anyway, them Martyr, another band.
Fuck yeah,
I love. Again, it's crazy. Like some of just like my idols growing up, like I can like call like friends now, like Damon Grain was like such a big, just a massive influence on me as a guitar player, but also like as a composer and like thinking about things in a different way.
He's a genius.
And like, you know, I just saw him recently play with Voivod, and he like signed my cast, and he's like, "Oh, have a beer and like let's hang out." And he's just such like a sweet dude.
Chewy.
Totally.
Yeah. I love that nickname. So funny.
Anyway, awesome. I mean, again, this is one of those topics that I could just talk about like all day because it has
spawn possession was. I'm gonna go ahead. I
just want to cut in there like real fast and like just like dude, your guitar playing is so rad and sick. Like, and like I heard like one of the posts I made on the stories, like I like found a solo just from a random song. Didn't have to even look very very far, but it was just like the sick solo that was like all like crazy like whole tone kind of sounding, like, you know, like it was just really cool, like this weird part, and like it kind of reminded me of you know Dan Mongrain and stuff, and I was just like, dude, like I don't know, I can hear that influence or that cool style in your guys' music too. So
thank you.
It's badass.
Yeah.
So
Dan's like, I remember seeing the first time I ever saw him was he was playing with Cryptopsy randomly, and like
I actually have a funny story about this.
He was really good as well. Okay, you go. That's all I was gonna say. He's good.
So I went to go see Cryptopsy, and I was freaking out because Mongrain was
Lord Worm too, right? Wasn't it Lord Worm?
It was supporting Once Was Not, right? That was the album that they had just put out recently.
I think
there was Once When Not stuff. Definitely that material was being
I thought they were playing some like old school shit on that one too, but
no, you're right, dude. It was Blasphemy Made Flesh. Or was it? No, it was None So Vile live.
I think that was what they were doing. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
But anyway, I'm like a kid, you know, I'm like, I don't know, like 16, 17 years old. Like I drove up to New Hampshire to this place called the Bomb Shelter to go see them play. And I had it wasn't even like a flip phone. like it wasn't even like a Razor. It was like pre-Razor flip phone, just some like shitty, I don't know, cell phone. But you could like program like ringtones into it, so you could like make your own, and like you could have like little libraries of stuff. So my ringtone was Dan Mongrain's solo from Deserted Waters off of Warp Zone that I like fucking
Jesus, sick, dude. That's
and I just punished him so hard. It's like loud.
You translated it into 8-bit or whatever for your
yeah. Literally, it's just like just sounds like garbage. And I remember like holding it up to his ear and like playing him like in the club, and he's just like looking at me like, oh, okay, like. Very, very nice, young man.
It's like no different than you.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm sure it's like noisy too in the club, and he probably like couldn't even like hear it at all. And I'm just like, Deserted Water solo. Like
it's no different than saying, check out my power tab of your solo, dude.
Right.
yeah. That's still like 8-bit. Like was that like a little app that you could use, or was it? Did you get to program it, or you have to like do it like it's all clicked out? And you have to go like do.
Dude, I don't even think apps existed back then.
Yeah, I know, right? I don't even know.
Like I had to go into like the bowels of my phone to like figure out like how to like do this.
That's savage.
Holy
dude.
shit, dude!
I'm down.
That's probably the nerdiest thing.
It's something that I would have done if
Actually, Martyrs, the reason why I even found out about Martyr was Spawn Possession Cabinet. That was their number one in the thank you list. That was their number one thank you. Was like the first one was Martyr, and so we were like, all right, next mission, we got to go to the record store and get Martyr. We have to find Martyr. That's what we have to do.
I've said it before, but was seeing Cryptopsy on that tour with Dan Mongrain, and then going to the merch booth and seeing the 2 Martyr albums, and it said for fans of Cynic and Atheist and Pestilence, and I was just like
Jesus,
sold $10 each, and let me get a Cryptopsy t-shirt while I'm at it.
Yeah, totally.
And I went home that night probably way more fucked up than I should have been, not driving obviously, but just sitting there like getting home from a show and saying, you know what, I'm not going to go to sleep right now. I'm going to sit here and listen to these albums that I got. And listening to Martyr's Warp Zone and being like, oh, fuck yeah, dude. I fucking bought a sick record tonight, dude.
Yeah.
And then you go to sleep and then you wake up and it could be different, but no, it was even better the next day, you know?
Yeah, there's something magical, I don't know, when you're just like young and like, I don't know, like your brain is like a sponge, and like and everything you're hearing too is like you're hearing it for the first time. So it's like legitimately blowing your mind, because like I don't know, we're like, we're not old and jaded yet. So like, I don't know. There's just something about that time period. Like I wish I could always, like, I've learned a lot, obviously, and I've grown as like a person, but man, I wish I could just sort of like stay in that. Like,
I know,
yeah, dude, I know exactly what you're talking about when you're saying this, because there's so many different listening experiences that we have along the way, because we're hungry and wanting to find the best shit all the time. So obviously, like, listening experiences will be varied though, because we're not going to find everything that we're necessarily looking for, but we're still trying, so you might not be ready for something that you come across after one listen, but you need a few listens. But there's what you're talking about is that first listen,
right,
where you actually do connect with it, and there's still this like potential of so many different connections that you can have with this art, but it's there, but it's you haven't made all the connections yet, so you got to go for it again, and it keeps building and building, and you make more.
Our filters have gotten so, like you said, jaded, kind of, where we just know when we hear songs now, we're like, all right, what's coming? Okay, I have a feeling, like we kind of that question mark over our head that we used to have when we were a kid has kind of been like what Dave said, kind of jaded, just to like, all right, they're doing that in the beginning. Okay, that's an interesting choice. All right, what's going? Okay, before it used to be like, do I like this? I don't even know what's going on. I mean, I need to figure this out, kind of thing. It's like that younger side of me was had so much more. There's mystery to the song more than just like, now I'm just kind of like, it's such like what you said, plug and play, just whatever, blah, I want to hear this, boop, and just like, there's no going out and purchasing the album, bringing it home, unwrapping it, doing a little thing. It's like, just like, I want to hear it real quick, like give it 40 seconds. It's cool. and just like, you could do that now, which has completely changed the landscape of music, which is a bummer. It's kind of been the downside of the streaming thing.
Yeah. I always try to still maintain that youthful exuberance, and I think certainly like get that from like a live experience too.
Yeah.
I mean, me being like a guitar teacher, there's a certain like analytical part of my brain when I'm listening to music, so I try my best to turn that off so that I can just experience it in the moment.
Right.
But I still have those. I will say I still have those moments where I don't know, something will just get stuck in my head and I'll be like just like all in on it. Like for me, it's happening right now with like that new like Queens of the Stone Age
okay
record. Like they only put out 2 tracks, but like I cannot stop listening to them.
Yeah,
and like it's making me go back to like their old catalog and going through it. And
that's fantastic, dude.
They just have such cool riffs and like certainly it happens to me with death metal bands and things like that. But I guess I don't know. Yeah, there's just something when you're like about hearing like an extreme metal genre for the very first time, to the point where it's just like I don't even know.
Yeah.
Like as we get older and we've toured with different bands and like I've interacted and shot the shit with so many great musicians. Like I mean, there's still that kind of amazing element of like, wow, like this person is like at the top of their game, or like a master of their craft.
It's like you're playing a video game and you opened up a new part of the map. When you meet these people, or when you're listening to these new forms of extreme technical music that we've come across throughout our journey to get here, I feel like those are like the opening up the new section of the map on a video game, where now we have new terrain to explore and figure out. And that was the Spawn of Possessions and all these other bands that we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't even fathom how they were like playing so fast, or even like someone like the harmonies and like weird counterpoint choices. Like I just like didn't like hear. They almost sound like classical music to me. So like I couldn't even sort of fathom how they like could think that shit up. Same thing with like listening to like a band like Martyr, like with like all their weird like shifting, time signatures and mixed meter and like all this stuff. But Meshuggah was like another one. Like, I mean, I remember getting the Contradictions Collapse record, and I'm like, man, like how are they so tight, but like playing like all these like off time
random shit,
things, and obviously like now like people do like whole like breakdowns and like YouTube tutorials on stuff, or like I've learned some of the stuff myself, and like a little bit of like the mystery gets removed. But yeah, like I don't know, like hearing just blazingly fast like double kick and blast beats like for the first time, like it was just like a magical thing where I'm like totally. is this human? Like an actual person played this? Like I can't even believe that. So I don't know. It's just it's cool to have your expectations of like what music is just like totally like turned upside down. And like that's
with
like
Spawn too. Spawn was just so many ideas of like you said, fast, but so many ideas come like 20 ideas in fucking like 30 seconds. You know, like you're just like it's just coming at you like what the fuck, and it's just getting like it's like getting a hose to the face of death metal. You're like I need to listen to this for like a year to understand the principle of what they're going by. I have no idea where they're starting. I don't know the counterpoint stuff, where they go back into like melodic parts, like in that song Hidden in Flesh, where they go into a total melodic like weaving in and out counterpoint part. And I'm like, oh my god, this is so like above me. Almost I do have that bug in me sometimes when I hear stuff like that, where I'm just like, I'm done. I don't want to play anymore. like I do have that like that non-competitive side where I'm like it's like LeBron James came into the arena with you and you're like, sick dude, I'm 6'1", he's like 6'9" and can jump over me, and like I don't want to do this anymore. I'm gonna get crushed. I don't want to do. But definitely.
Dude, how sick would it be to score while LeBron was out there on the court with you, though, dude? You got to fucking get out there and fucking man up, bro.
I have to like throw it off his head or his hand somehow, and have to have it go in the hoop. It's like I don't know. Anyways,
but for the record, Anthony wants you to man up, Joel.
Man up and get up against Spawn of Possession and shred, dude. Just fucking do it, dude.
No,
Just
for
read
sure.
in my
But
face.
so getting back into the timeline though, but you're getting into the technical stuff. So I could tell there's that thrash. I was mixing up Exporter with what's that Slaughter in the Vatican, that band? What's that band called?
That's X-Order.
Exporter.
Okay. So is
Yeah.
it fucking Pat in that band from Cannibal Corpse now?
He's filling in. Yeah,
Okay.
But we're talking about the Law, which was like what 93.
But like now they're touring now.
When was
Pat
that?
O'Brien's
91?
like back. Pat O'Brien's back in like a band now.
Actually, Pat
jamming with them.
O'Brien. This is another kind of a trip. Pat O'Brien and
Yeah.
the X-Order dudes came out to the show that I broke my fucking wrist at.
Whoa.
Yeah, like I was just shooting the shit. Like I didn't know like Pat was coming because I've toured with Pat before when he was in Cannibal, and he just like rolls up. I'm like, oh, what's up, Pat? We just like kind of started shooting the shit, and then like the other X-Order dudes came. So I was talking with Kyle a little bit, and yeah, like that was the night I broke my wrist like in front of all those dudes.
God damn it! But still, you fucking finished
you
the set.
finished
So
it, you said.
Yeah.
like,
So, dude, that showed him your passion for your
Passion for
thrash.
thrashing, dude.
Passion for thrashing, dude. I've never heard that. I'm gonna take it and run with it.
But no, that's like I mean, we played shows with like we did tour with Hate Eternal and stuff, and seeing like Eric Rutan fuck up a bunch and have like a bunch of problems, and then like go up to him after the show like, fuck yeah, dude, good job. And like because he didn't watch the set, you're like, dude, what's up with that? Is that like now touring nowadays? It's been probably 10 years since I've toured, but like that used to the good set thing. Do you guys do good sets when you don't watch the set?
No, I mean like like if I'm on tour if I'm on tour with a band and we're like playing like night after night, like I don't feel like I need to be like, oh, good set, dude, if I didn't watch the set. Like I'll just be like, oh, how was the set?
Yeah.
Okay, that's smart. Yeah.
How was it for you? And they'll be like, oh, this happened. Because that way you don't run into like the fucking like, oh, good set, dude. And, like the amp blew up and like, dude, all that happened. But
I think as a touring band, you all know that nobody's. We'll pay attention as much as we can, but things happen while various bands are on stage. That's our time to go do some other shit. Handle this and that before we get on stage. Blah blah blah.
But the good set thing is pretty funny because it's like
my thing.
If he thinks you watch the set, it's sarcastic. Like, yeah, good set, dude.
Right.
Like, fuck you. Dude.
Yeah. Then he gets all even more mad.
It's like you didn't watch it. It's like, oh, you're just saying good set. You didn't even fucking watch it. It's like,
dude, we
I was like I was just like
that's
a part of the time.
How was the set? And then you.
That's a good. That's
exactly,
I didn't know that. So I'm like, you didn't watch the set? Well, fuck you, dude. I'm just kidding.
That's what you're saying. How was the set? That's how
Jesus, I should have learned that a long time ago.
Yeah,
or you could go like this. You could go, good set.
Question
like
mark?
question mark.
Good set, question mark.
Kind of Larry David him a little bit, just like good set.
Good set.
Yeah, this is very late. It sounds like a
No, Larry wouldn't even care if it was a good set.
What am I supposed to say?
Yeah, he would
hilarious.
definitely be like, "This is what we're supposed to do right now." Like,
curb your enthusiasm. Definitely.
So you're getting in that. So are you jamming with people at this point when you're going on the technical rabbit hole? Are you having like jam sessions? Are you covering songs? Are you writing?
Yeah. I'm jamming. I'm writing. I'm doing covers. Kind of all of the above. Revocation. I think we put out like our first demo in like 2006. I want to say was the Summon the Spawn demo. And then pretty much like ever since then, it was like, I don't know, like my number one focus was just working on that. I mean, we put out our first record, Empire of the Obscene, I think in 2008. And then I want to say like we got signed shortly after that. And then Existence is Futile came out like 2009.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So Phil was the drummer of your band for till when?
So he was the drummer. So Deathless was the last record that he was on.
Okay, I remember he would end up every time Decrepit would come through. What was it? The Awusta. He would always be in the van, just like with a joint. Like he's like, oh, in the band Revocation, how's it going? I was like, what? He just like jump in the van somehow, and he was like talking about. That's why I first heard about you guys was through him. He like gave me maybe a demo or something like that, and it was like the the last time I hung out with him was like the New England Metal and Hardcore Fest we played or something. But you guys were kind of, I'm super stoked for you guys because you guys were kind of this like up and coming band. All of a sudden, just to me, I mean, I'm getting old, so time's going fast now. But you guys have earned your spot in like the headlining arena now. Well, do you miss like being kind of like an opener under a big or like a spot under a big band or being the headliner? Because I hear a lot of bands complain about, I know money's better at headlining, but like as far as your day is concerned, like being right under the headliner and having like less responsibility, you don't have to hang out the whole night and then play and then the show's over when you're done. Would you rather have like you being under a bigger band or you guys headlining?
You know, it's tough to say. You know, they're both great. I mean, it's obviously an awesome feeling to like go out there and headline, and you know, you feel like, I mean, you're able to play a longer set, and you know, you can probably assume like the majority of the people are kind of, you know, there for you, and like there's just like kind of like an excitement like around that, like, I don't know, headlining status. You can kind of prove your mettle too, like, all right, you know, we're going out here and we're like we're seeing what you know, what we're worth, and it's I don't know, it's just like a good feeling, I guess. But like you feel like you kind of like have accomplished something, right? Like all of these years, and like, yeah, now we're at the top of the bill, right? So that's cool. But I mean, we're fortunate enough that you know, we still can go out and support bands that are bigger than us and like have a great time. So like, I mean, we just did that Morbid Angel tour where we were supporting them. Obviously, I mean, you know, Morbid's like a classic band, and you know, super cool dudes as well, like really nice guys. So we've gone out and supported Cannibal. We've supported a lot of bands and we'll continue to do so. I mean, we're not one of those bands that I don't know, we're not like egotistical or anything like that. Like we want to go out and tour and have a good time. And you know, if it makes sense to do a support tour, we'll do a support tour. If it makes sense to do a headline run, we'll do a headline run. And I think they both have their pros and cons. I mean, we've gone out and you know, opened for Killswitch before. We were direct support to Killswitch in Europe, and their tour was already sold out before they even announced any support bands. So there was literally like our fans didn't even have a chance to like buy tickets to like come see the show. So it was just all Killswitch fans. Now maybe there was like a small percentage of Killswitch fans that were already familiar with us, or maybe were stoked that we were also playing. But I mean, it was primarily like we're like when we go on tour with like Morbid or Cannibal Corpse, there's probably already going to be some like Revocation like shirts in the audience, or you know, Revocation fans in the audience. But with Killswitch, I mean, it was like we had to go out there and you know, just try to convert as many people as possible.
That's what I was going to ask you. I'm like, dude, okay, one is going out and supporting Killswitch in the States and supporting in the States, so you would have that in your favor, but you know, like a European Killswitch Engage crowd, I don't really know where the crossovers happen with that.
I think they'd be more open, right, to like more extreme music, because metal is more of like a you know, the language they speak out there compared to America.
Yeah, you're probably right, dude. You're totally right, because I haven't not experienced it, and it totally makes sense that they would be open to, you know. I mean, we get mixed up. Well, we used to get mixed up shows all the time where it'd be a different style of metal every single band. So that stuff I'm used to. But I was just thinking of like Revocation in the Killswitch realm, how that was really received.
You know, I don't think it wasn't like 100% of fans were like all in on Revocation at the end of the night. But I mean, the crowds were so big that, I mean, even if you converted like, I don't know, 10% of people, you know, like 10% of, you know, 4,000 is still like a pretty damn good number.
Totally.
And like when we went out and did our last headlining tour, there was like a few people that came up to like the merch table or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, I saw you with Killswitch," so like, you know, became a fan after that. So I mean, that's exactly what you want. But like, shout out to the Killswitch guys, because like I said, they like their tour was already sold out. So I mean, they basically just like handpicked us just because like they wanted to bring us out. And they were all like such nice guys. And yeah, just like I don't know, just super cool to be around. And like they treated us fucking awesome. Like the catering on that tour was, I mean, I don't know if I'll ever experience food that good. It was almost every day they had like people coming out and just like cooking like just breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and it was fucking fantastic. So
Yeah.
that was a fun tour.
Would you take that opportunity? I know, rest in peace, Trevor. Trevor Sternad did the same thing for me and Casey when we were in Decrepit. The tour was the nocturnal, like first nocturnal tour, and it was already like 60% sold out, and they just like asked us to come on or Trevor did because he wanted Decrepit he wanted it to, people to see it because it's kind of like an underground unique leader band, and he was would like let's say that you get that because you're getting more to the headlining thing. Are you gonna start doing things like calling up Anata and be like, get back together, motherfuckers? I need you, or call up like Theory in practice, like, come on, Peter, like get this shit back together. Let's see, is that like something that you would be interested in doing? Like if you're like, top of the game, headlining act, would you try to contact the kind of like underground influences to kind of bring them out?
I mean, yeah, that would be sick. I mean, if like our tour is like, selling out like 2,000 to 5,000 cap rooms, like pre-announcement of the rest of the lineup, then like, I mean, fuck yeah, I put together like whatever like my dream team lineup was.
Yeah.
Just like, like I don't like it would like only I would want to see it. Like, just be
yeah. Just all obscure, like this one random black metal band, and then like this fucking tech band, and then that'd be cool. That'd be really cool.
Obscure lineup possible.
Speaking of which, the Cynic Atheist show that's going to be at Brick by Brick in San Diego, Paul specifically wants David, our old friend and old guitarist of Odious, to do a crazy ass like dark electronic drum and bass, crazy weird set for the opening. And like, there's this whole group text going on and shit, and like he will not like. He's like,
no, I know. David called me and was like freaking
David's
out.
Like, I have to do it. Like, so he like Paul will not let him say no. So he's gonna open that fucking show like with like
he was like, just I don't know how the crowd's gonna perceive it, blah blah. It's totally different style. I'm like, dude, I mean, not get over it. I understand his fears. Like you're going into a metal progressive crowd and you're doing like extreme jungle electric like.
My thing is get over
on their genre.
Paul Masvidal is saying
that's what I'm saying. You're never gonna forget it.
For an answer.
It's just funny, yeah.
You gotta do it. Like I mean, it's
like, you should play drums on, and I was like, how am I gonna fucking? I can't do that shit.
Yeah, you can.
I could, but I'd be like, it's not like my wheelhouse.
It's too close to probably the time to start working on that.
Yeah, it's like June 4th or July 14th.
I think
June 14th. Fucking
you don't want to fuck with him now because Dave's already freaking out. Probably.
It's like 2 weeks away, dude.
You can morph into a bop drummer, dude, and you could bop over that.
No, it's drum and bass shit. I can't.
You could bop over that though, dude.
It's gonna be weird.
Very. It translates
very like. I felt it's better because David was he was relieved because he has like a whole thing set up that's like very super fucked up, like noises and odd time and weird shit, and
that's the stuff that Paul was saying that he likes about his shit.
Be like, I'm glad I don't have to like coordinate that in 2 weeks. Like it just makes
yeah. No, but
David just does it. And
it's still cool that knowing that Paul was like, hey, dude, Casey, you should do some live drum shit over that.
Yeah, but the thing is that like it was kind of funny because David kept like trying to like I'm getting these like paragraph texts and shit, and it's like David's
he's freaking out.
Not a good idea and all this stuff. And Paul
he's gonna rip it, dude. Warbreaker, you're gonna fucking break wars all over the world.
Shout out.
All right. Shout out to Warbreaker.
So in the middle of this, actually, David. Dave or David? What do you like? Both doesn't matter.
Dave.
Dave Davidson has a good snap to it.
It's more aerodynamic.
Yeah. Davidson is way harder to say than Dave Davidson. Yeah, but I've had my like, damn man, your signature guitars. Like, first of all, I've always wanted a Warrior, and then I haven't had a 7-string since probably 10 years ago at least. And then you released that Warrior 7-string, and I was like, God damn it, that's exactly what I want. And I've had it like I've had my finger like kind of hovering over the buy button. But how did you connect with like Jackson, and how did you get that like going? Because first of all, it's basically if I had like a signature guitar, I'd probably do the same thing. I'd probably do maybe a 6 and 7-string version. But man, that's a fucking sexy guitar, and you keep coming up with like new versions of it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Firstly, you should buy it for sure.
All right, send me a coupon code, brother.
No, I mean, Jackson, I've been working with them sort of since like the beginning. Well, I shouldn't say I've been working with them since the beginning. They So my buddy Al, who played in Job for a Cowboy, Al Glassman. I don't know if you know Al.
Yeah.
He got me hooked up with Jackson. We did like our first music video was Dismantle the Dictator, like for the Existence record.
Fuck yeah.
And I was playing a Ferrari Red Warrior in that. My parents bought me that as a graduation present. And that was just like my like baby. I never had like a USA guitar before.
Yeah,
so
totally.
It wasn't like custom shop, but it was like, you know, it was like one of the USA models. So I was like super stoked. And played that guitar. That was like my main stage guitar. And yeah, I guess like I think probably back then, like no one was really playing the Warrior. Like Dan Mongrain was playing a Warrior. That was like a big reason why I went to that shape. But it wasn't like a in vogue kind of body style back then. So I think Jackson was just kind of pumped that like someone was out there like really repping that shape. And I remember like kind of early on they just seemed like really interested to work with me and like kind of also like put me in touch with other people. So like they put me in touch with DiMarzio, and I got endorsement through them. But yeah, I think I don't know. I just like developed like a good rapport with them over the years. They'd like fly me out to NAMM, and I would do like signings and things like that, and like, you know, shoot the shit with the different dudes. And I just like really like got along well with everyone that works at that company. And I remember just like one NAMM, I don't know if they kind of brought it up and kind of hinted at it, like, oh, maybe next year we should talk about this. But I like just the timing seemed right, and I just kind of like decided to like shoot my shot. And they were all about it. They're like, yo, let's do a signature model. So yeah, the first one was like this kind of charcoal black stain, 7-string Warrior, and then we did like a Pro Series spin-off from that, and then I went back and did like a roasted ash model, and did like a little bit of a spin-off from that one, and now I'm kind of come full circle, and I'm back to like the OG Ferrari Red style, but as like my signature, and it's a 7-string, and you know, we changed up some things. Obviously, it's got like piranha inlays instead of like the bigger shark fins. It's got a 5-piece neck. It's got my signature DiMarzio pickups in it. So what
are they called? What are the signature DiMarzios called?
A cult classic.
That's right. Awesome. So I mean, with you going through the journey of, you know, like designing a guitar, because also you know what you like, and you know you're playing with tone woods and stuff like that, and pickups and doing that. Like, what have you learned coming from your like initial? Because if I were to have a chance to do a signature one, I'd probably have a million ideas and try one and be like, I could change this, change that. What have you like come as far as woods are concerned? Have you changed woods in your guitar? Have you changed like as far as the woods and the necks? And do you think tonality really does it really change much, especially with high distorted guitars with woods and necks?
I don't know. I mean, I guess I've played guitars that have sounded maybe darker or whatever, like maybe like mahogany guitars.
Denser wood.
I had a mahogany Warrior. Or I have a mahogany Warrior that's like a spalted maple top on it. That one maybe kind of seemed a little bit darker to me. But like that one had like I think that one had like a different like Floyd Rose like bridge on it. So like there's just so many like factors to things, you know, when it comes to that kind of stuff. And like and even like wood itself is I mean, it's an organic thing. It's never going to be the same. So like pickups, your amp, obviously like the tone of your hands, like I'll give you an example. Like when I was first working on my signature pickups with DiMarzio, I recorded like I had a bunch of different DiMarzio pickups that they had sent me, and I was like,
and they're passive, right? Yours are passive.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was actively swapping them out, and I was recording. I had like, I don't know, a deactivator and like a Steve Special, and just like a bunch of different pickups. And I would record like little snippets of like the same riff, and I was sending it out to Steve Blucher, who like was like the guru behind like, you know, a lot of those pickups there, and like being like, okay, I like this about that and this about that, or whatever. And it's funny, Steve hit me back and was like, yeah, like, are you sure these are all different pickups? And I'm like, yeah, like they definitely are. And he was like, oh, that's so weird. He's like, I think you're like adjusting your playing style like ever so slightly because you have a certain sound in your head.
Oops.
And he was like, the only other person I've seen do that was like Paul Gilbert. Which was like, I was like, oh shit. And like, you know, I mean, obviously Paul Gilbert's got like just like crazy technique, but he's like, his tone is so like fucking.
You hear it out of the amp, so you're changing your hands. You're like, you can hear like, okay, I need to hit a little harder on this. I need to do a little softer on this.
Exactly. So, but you know, he took all that into consideration, and that was my first signature pickup was the Imperium that we work with. But yeah, I like. So like tone woods and stuff like that. I mean, it's not like an acoustic guitar, right? I mean, you're like you're fucking going into a high gain amp with distortion and all this stuff. So you're gonna get way more differences in tone out of you know, the pedals that you're using and stuff like that. I mean, certain guitars, like certain vintage guitars, just have like mojo and shit. Like, you know, I've played a '59 Les Paul that was fucking $500,000. And it had a vibe to it. You know, you're like, wow, this is like sick. And I've played like vintage Strats before that, like certain ones just like they just have, there's just something there. But also some of that could be the electronics too. Like certain of those, like the metals and the alloys and the solder, even the soldering. It's just they were just made of different components back then, different shit. So you know, I don't think it's not like none of it matters. But I think when some people are like so obsessed with like the tone woods and stuff like that, like, okay, like I'll give you another example. Like Nir Felder, I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, but he's like a jazz fusion guitar player. He's incredible. Like the shit he plays is ridiculous. And I've seen him play live and on record. His tone is fucking sick. And he'll do stuff like he'll play clean, but then he'll play like kind of dirty. He's not playing like with death metal tone. Anyway, my point is he plays like a, you know, like a Mexican Strat or something.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like this like custom shop thing. Like the guitar he plays is probably like $500 guitar.
Yeah.
And he has he's huge now, like in that scene. And like, I'm sure he has people, he could get like a sick boutique guitar company to like make him a guitar.
Exactly.
And he still sticks with like the like, you know,
what he's comfortable with,
but it sounds amazing and plays amazing. So, you know, who gives a shit? And I've heard like stories about that with like with Steve Vai too before, where like, you know, he said he's gone into like, you know, Guitar Center or something like that and just like picked up some like, you know, lower end model Strat, and for whatever reason it's just like that wood and that guitar,
the combination
sounded great. So
I believe that for sure.
Well, I've been hearing like, I mean, there was this one actually. Fuck, I've talked about it once before on the pod, but there was this one guy that was like doing an experiment, and it was tone woods, and it was with electronics, and he basically went down to like try, you know, basically would swap out pickups and with the same wood, give you samples, and then he went down to like having a table with a pickup on it with no wood. Like, I mean, like there was basically it was like holding
before I remember this
floating pickup and no wood, and then they had you like. They did a blind sample going like, okay, this is like the most fanciest, whatever you can think of, like whatever you can think of, like fanciest wood you can think of, most expensive. And then here's the table with no wood, and it was like the same. And I was like, God damn it. So
like, well, it may not have used to be that way, but now with like technology, it's
electronics are just so dominant. I think that's what you're talking about with like because I used to work at Guitar Center, you know, 15 years ago, and I remember we had a 56 Strat that was, you know, 50 grand or something, and I remember playing it, and I was like plugged it in, I'm like, this thing sucks, I don't like this thing. But I mean, like it wasn't my vibe. I wasn't going for country western. That's kind of what they were kind of more going for. But I picked up just this cheap, like the cheapest Telecaster, I forget something classic vibe or something, and I was like, this is my favorite guitar I've ever played in my life, and it's like a $200 guitar, you know, as far as the neck, how it sounds, and like I could put a hot rod to pick up if I wanted to, but just you like being involved with like putting out guitars and what you've learned. I was just kind of poking out there to see if there's anything that has blown your mind about, you know, working with luthiers and stuff, and finding out things about guitars that you didn't think you'd find out.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, like in terms of like quality of wood and all that kind of stuff, I mean, I think there's other things that aren't just like, you know, tone. I mean, like there's the stability of the neck, right?
Traveling,
like, you know, quarter sawn maple is going to be like a much like, you know, stronger intact piece of wood than, you know, if you buy some cheap guitar and like the wood's got like a bunch of like knots in it and shit like that. So or like, you know, a beautifully like figured wood grain that's like, you know, the top, like the, I don't know, like the A5 Wagyu of wood, where it just like has all this crazy marbling and stuff like that. Like visually is going to be, you know, way more insane to look at than like, I don't know, just something that's just, you know, bottom of the barrel, like random piece of like driftwood or some shit. So I guess that there's the point I'm trying to make is there's more factors than just only the tone there. And obviously like playing metal, like extreme metal. I mean, the Warrior shape, like people aren't going to be really, you know, probably not going to be fucking playing jazz on that thing anytime soon. So like there's going to be gain and pedals and like, you know, all that other stuff that comes into play that's going to you know, affect the tone of the guitar, you know, much more.
I was going to think about, you just made me think about, you know, the other aspects of it that I never really considered, which is just like what looks dope to you as a player. If you're going to have a guitar or anything, I want it to be something that I think looks sick too. So it's just like the wood may not have anything to do with how it sounds versus what it looks like to you, because it's your weapon of choice. You're like, oh dude, this is sick, dude. This is my axe, you know.
Well, one thing like Dave made a good point is like you have to travel with it. So like if you have like a, you know, a certain like the knots and stuff, I haven't even looked into that, but like if you travel, you know, put it on a plane, you travel, and like it could
pressure,
warping that could happen. There's like, you know, temperature differences,
changes,
stuff like that. Like that, like with the different wood grains, I haven't really
humidity,
thought about.
all that. Yeah.
Like those like my signature USA models, those are like custom shop builds, and like Mike Shannon or Joe Williams, usually the two of them will build them. But you know, I think before Joe came on board, I mean, Mike Shannon's been with Jackson for years. He used to build like guitars for like fucking Randy Rhoads back in the day. So like, first of all, you get like his level of like craftsmanship there. So like, yes, they're like hand selecting like the best quality woods for whether it's for tone or stability or whatever. Like they're, you know, choosing the best wood from the pile for like those type of instruments because they, you know, they fetch a much higher price tag. But you also have like a craftsman like Mike behind that guitar, hand making it. So like there's that level of expertise there. So it's not just like sort of I think of like, I don't know, like a master chef could probably make like a $5 cut of steak taste amazing, and you know, a shitty chef could, you know, destroy like the nicest cut of beef that
that's a good way to
cost like $1,000. So there's so many components that go into it. So you know, it's not just it's the materials are there for sure, but I mean even just like, you know, certain guitars, if they're on like if they're less expensive or cheaper, like, you know, they're not going to have like even like the tuning pegs might be like a little bit shittier, or like the bridge might kind of suck a little bit more. So like having like the best of the best sort of across the board, and then giving all those great ingredients to a master builder, you know, some real magic's gonna happen there. But with certain guitars, just to get back to the tone thing for a second, like I will say, like I think it depends on the style of guitar that you're going for. Like, again, if it's something like a jazz guitar that's going to be like semi hollow or like fully hollow, like there's just like a different resonance that's happening there. You know, it's not like it's I don't know, the wood maybe like sort of breathes in a different way because like the body cavity is hollow. I remember watching a YouTube video, I think it was on like, I forget the luthier, but he was like, you know, some master builder jazz guitar guy, and he like feels each like piece of wood, and it was crazy. Like it was on the video, and like he was kind of like rubbing down like different necks. He's like, okay, and then like he grabbed one and he rubbed it, and just like it just almost had this like harmonic kind of overtone to just him like Jesus rubbing the wood. And like he looked at the camera, and he's like, this is gonna be a good one. And I was like, damn, like I felt that too. So it's you know, it's there's so many factors that go into it, and
you gotta rub that wood.
Yeah, you gotta rub down that. You gotta rub that wood. Yeah. So I mean, for you traveling and stuff, are you? I see you have a 5153 behind you.
Yeah, I got a few amps here. I got like a vintage Fender Deluxe.
Nice.
I got like the 5150 there, like a 2x12, and then I got like the combo amp that EVH started making. I think it was a couple years ago they released this combo amp. So that's kind of
it's EVH with 5150 now. It used to be the PV, right? They had that combo 5150 for a long time.
Yeah, PV still makes the 5150s, but as far as I know, this EVH thing is like it's within the last like year or so.
I got that.
Are you touring with the? Oh yeah, that's right. You have that combo one, that like 112. Is it a 112?
Yep.
Like combo.
It is
yeah.
112. Yeah.
Both of you guys have it. Yeah.
Yes, it is, yeah.
Are you using like on the road, or are you doing like amp modeling and stuff like that, or?
No, I use EVH for live too. We're like rolling with like full stacks usually and like 100 watt heads. But I like the 50 watt heads too because you can kind of cook them a little bit hotter.
It's funny because like that's like a gangster move now. It's like, do you have fucking heads, dude? It's like you're not bringing your Kemper model. Like you have your fucking heads. Like, you guys made it. Like what's going on?
How much smaller the trailer needs to be though? If they don't,
I know.
Yeah, they're just all like digital. They're just like, we don't even need a trailer, dude.
The drummer of Gargoyl was breaking my balls the other day because he was just like, dude, when are you gonna go to? He's like a little younger than me, and he's just like, when are you gonna go to fucking Kempers or like amp modelers, dude? Like, you're breaking you're getting old now. You're just gonna like throw your back out moving those things around. He's not wrong, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's just something about
pushing air on stage.
Well, yeah, I mean, like you need that on stage, right? I mean, you don't need it, but like it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
yeah.
You do need it, damn it.
Hell yeah.
I agree with you. I mean, it's more of a want, but I don't know about need. But I think if you have the fucking, you have the logistics to carry that shit around, then fuck yeah, do it.
Are we admitting that we're like the last generation of that, or do you think that it'll be
everything comes in waves?
Like
you know, it's what's in vogue now is going to be, like I don't know. Like I remember, like some like the first crew of dudes that were really into like the digital stuff, like good buddies of mine, like Misha and Tosin. They were like really kind of into the digital side of stuff. Yeah. And then like I went to go see Animals play, and like Tosin was like showing me his whole rig, and he was like going through like a Morgan amp, and he had like 50 pedals on stage. I'm like, I thought you had like the whole thing. He's like, yeah, I'm doing this now. So I feel like things get popular, and like everyone's talking about like the new. Actually, there's a composer that is like just like mind blowing. Goddamn, what is his name? Morgan. Well, I gotta look him up.
Is that the one that Nate was talking about a bunch? God, talking to Mossy or something?
Tigran.
Oh no. Tigran. No, not Tigran. Okay.
Milton Babbitt.
Okay.
And yeah, he said nothing gets old faster than a new sound, which I always thought was cool because he was like working with like synthesizers and stuff like that back in the day, like back when they would like take up like an entire fucking room. And he composed like, you know, some really great pieces using those synthesizers, but like he didn't like use them as like a crutch. Like he already had like obviously like an immense skill as a composer, and he used that as an extra thing to supplement other things that he was hearing to kind of bring new sounds in. But I think he realized that the trap that you can fall into when you just kind of like, you know, you only rely on the voice, just like the, you know, someone that buys like a $50,000 vintage Strat, you know, some like lawyer, but they fucking sound like shit and can't play anything. So,
it does get to the point where you hit the border between your abilities and what's in your hands versus the equipment you have.
It's kind of like what you were saying earlier. I mean, we've heard people say it before, is like the tones in your hands. I remember when because Casey and I, or no, were you on that? I don't think you might have not been on that tour, but it was Tosin's one of his first tours with Animals Leaders on Summer Slaughter, and him and Javier had those Axe effects, and they were like, there was no web, or there was no computer interface. They were just like, oh no, dude, just go take these little blocks, and they were like moving them, and I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, that looks insane. But they were like, it's the sickest thing ever. You have to learn it. And I was like, I'll just do the dials on the front. I don't know what to do with all that. And like once the actual computer interface came out, and I was like, all right, that makes a little bit more sense. But they were doing it on the screen that was this big, and they were just
Tosin was fucking with the pedal shit even in Reflux, dude. Because there was no second guitar player in Reflux live. On record, you'd hear rhythm guitar underneath his solos and stuff, but he would set it up to where he'd, you know, record his rhythm live and loop it so he could solo over it, and he was doing all that with his feet. And
that's kind of like, yeah. I just know.
So I'm sure just from him doing that in reflux, that's how long it's been since he'll probably
he's
never
always
stop
been
using pedals
like that. No, he's always been like on the cutting edge of trying to find something new. Just like ever since like long time ago when I met him, just like he's like, check out this slap. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, no, no one can do that. Like, they're not Victor Wooten on guitar, dude. And then it's like, I remember we did a tour with them, and like maybe a year later, the cover of Guitar World. I'm like, all right, maybe it's fine. Like Steve Vai was showing up to our shows and shit, and I was like, shit. Steve Vai's son's like a big death metal guy too, and be like, hey, like Steve Vai watching your set, like a death metal set, just going, I'm like, God, my dad would be mad right now. Like, my dad's all into that, like, you know, dad like Satriani kind of like bouncy, fun, shreddy stuff, you know. And but no, Tosin, there's been times where he's been like, Joel, do you want a lesson? I was like, nah, dude. For whatever reason, I was like tired or something, and like looking back after, like, oh, that would have been sick. I probably should have taken that up. But no, he's always been on the cutting edge of him, and Misha and stuff have always been pushing like different kind of electronic sounds. But it does kind of always go back to like, if you're in a death metal band, like, you know, tube amps kind of win. And I don't want to say it because I have my fractal right here, but it's it's fine. I like, me and Matt Sotelo from Decrepit would come over and have like amp wars. He like brings over like an old school amp that was used on Death's whatever album, and then another old school amp that was the Black album, you know, Mesa Boogie. And then I have my little fractal, and I'd be like trying to outdo him, and I did a couple times, but he's like, I don't know, the overdrive pedal's broken. He'd be like sitting there like trying to figure it. I'm like, that's what I thought, motherfucker. What, dude? Fractal back in the day, though. I was like trying to flex on him, but that live sound that you get pushing from, like, if I were to ever do like a fractal setup live, it would be miking. Even though miking a cab with a fractal going through it, do you think that would even like sound anywhere near the same? People go front of the house. Metallica uses pretty much the same. I mean, they did same setup with the Matrix and stuff,
shit, right? Don't they?
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm not a professional. It's like me cutting that expensive slice of meat, and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, kind of thing. Like what Davidson was saying earlier. I'm like, got this sick knife, and like the meat's there, and I'm just wrong angle.
Just like you could have like amps on the stage and the shit. You can't do both. Is it too much?
You can't. I mean, the amps on the stage are usually monitors for themselves, I would think, right? It's probably not what going out in front of the house.
What do you think about that, Dave? Like, how is it like one or the other, or can you mix?
I've never owned a fractal. I have no fucking idea. But
we're like offending him by saying fractal. He's like, fucking fractal.
I mean, look, they're sick. Like, I mean, I would definitely like to fuck around with one, but you know, Kempers too. Like, I'm not hating on that gear. I mean, if it works for you, it works for you. Just for me, like, I don't know. I feel like I'm like kind of like a caveman, and just like to just, you know, like you were saying, I have like the knobs like on the front. I can see it. Nothing's digital there. But like, I mean, I would definitely love to like check one out and like, you know, use it in the studio or something like that, just to see like how it goes. I'm not saying I'll never use them live. Just for me, like, I like the sound that I get out of like tube amps.
It's like a comfort. It's like a comfort.
It's a comfort thing, exactly. But
yeah.
And the technology is like getting better and better. Like, I mean, I did a Kemper pack for this company, Tone Crate, and like, honestly, like the shit sounded fucking awesome. Like, they flew me out to like Texas, and they had like a whole studio there, and they just like profiled like a bunch of amps. And I mean, I had like a hard time, like we A/B'd them, like, damn, that shit's like really dialed in. And I'm sure it's only gonna get even better as like the weirdo like algorithm AI shit like makes it better and better and better and better. But yeah, there's something about the cabinet on stage, like pushing that air. I don't know how fractals work, so I would assume you could go into a cab and also have a line out to like the front of house. But I know most people usually just like have the fractal and it goes to the PA, and like, you know, I thought the whole kind of point of those was to eliminate the cabs on stage, but maybe they have a way to do both. I mean, I'm sure they have a few outs on the back, but I've never really done like a deep dive into those.
I'm torn. Wait, let me just go on this real quick. I'm torn in this area because I'm 38, so I'm only a couple of years older than you. So I grew up in the 90s and Mesa Boogie and real
I'm 40,
fucking...
so I'm totally confused.
So guitar heads and all that kind of like shit is just like natural to me, seeing all that stuff on stage and all that. I don't know anything about gear. But there's also a side of me that at this age, I also embrace like innovation as well in certain aspects. And I'm like, this is just natural human progression, is like figuring out the easier way of doing things, So I don't know where it really is right now, but I'm like, okay, that's to where somebody can put whatever head and cab in somebody's living room through a computer and good speakers.
He's a vocalist, by the way.
No, I'm just saying.
It's like a better set of tires. Like, dude, these tires match your car is so much better.
Ha ha ha! So funny, but the point I'm making is so true, which is humans are always trying to make it to where we can do things faster and faster. And if you're putting a Mesa Boogie in everybody's living room, as soon as they can just click a few buttons and then play on their guitar, they're on a Mesa Boogie versus going out and buying it. That's just where we're naturally always trying to go. We're always
a fractal
or
like a like a Kemper. I mean, to me, it's the way to think about it. It's like a Tesla or something. Like there's that old muscle car that people like, and then there's the Tesla that's streamlined, has a faster, like might go faster off the kick, but like overall, like there's muscle cars that can kind of compete with it, and it's kind of like what people have been doing for a long time. So people are like, he's a car guy, so I have to do it in car terms. But
you're already doing it wrong, because I'm over here in my head like he's comparing a fully electric vehicle to an old muscle car. No, you'd have to
electric tube, or no, a tube like amp that uses tubes, like vacuum tubes, versus like a battery powered car.
I understand all that.
Yeah, it's like smoother, slicker, easier to like carry around, even though Teslas are pretty heavy, I guess. But like as far as traveling wise, it's the only reason why I think that kind of stuff really makes sense. Is like,
no, I know, and I'm just putting it into where we're like, we don't have to actually make the heads. We could just make a program that will almost get to being those heads.
It's like almost is huge
for me. Like, I mean, I totally hear you on like the technology and stuff like that. And like I said, I'm not like this Luddite where like I'll never embrace like new technology, and like I'm not saying like I'll never use those. It's more of a comfort thing for me live, but I mean I'm already using like that technology at home, like for the last Revocation record. I mean I tracked it all myself, and I was just using like neural plugins like the entire time to track it. Now we went and like reamped after the fact, but as far as like just like getting like a usable tone, like rather than like mic up a cabinet and fucking have to deal with all that stuff, like I've got my like Gojira.
I just got Gojira.
Yeah, that one's fucking sick. It sounds so good. And I tweaked it so I have like my presets. So I've got and then the cool thing about that is like, once you have like I don't know, Dave's guitar tone 1 or whatever, like you save that and it's always there. No one's gonna bump the microphone. And because I was actually pretty paranoid recording the record, like I didn't want to mic it up myself because like I was just nervous, like I wasn't gonna do it the right way, or like someone bumps the mic and it gets moved ever so slightly, and like I wasn't paying attention, and then like if I go to like each song sounds a little bit different or something like that. So I just figured like if I do it all in the box and just get like the DI like as a solid signal, I can then shoot that out to whoever. It was Jens Bogren that ended up mixing it, and he can just have just the dry signal and go from there. So that to me was really like just like super useful and like a game changer, like the plug-in shit. But it's a different environment, obviously, like tracking at home with like studio monitors or headphones versus like being on a stage and competing with a drummer that's like beating the shit out of the kit.
Yeah. Do you find it more comfortable to be like at home, just jam? I mean, it's like you're in your room, your comfort spot, like recording wise versus being in like a studio.
Oh, as far as like recording goes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess that.
Do you do reamping like with albums? Are you doing reamping for albums? Or are you going directly in the studio and just doing it there? Or are you doing the tracks at home and then reamping them in the studio?
So the last record was the first record that I recorded, like or engineered, I should say, like all myself. So I guess it was more comfortable because I was like, in my own like space, and I wasn't like, in someone else's studio, and like time is money there kind of thing, right? But at the same time, it was my first time doing it, so that it like presented like a whole other slew of like challenges. Like if something went wrong, like it was my first time ever like dealing with that, so I had to like kind of get out of my workflow and like look up YouTube tutorials of like, why is this happening in Logic? Or like, I didn't even like really know you could like auto punch until like the record was done.
Oh, damn.
So like, I was like, oh, I could do it that way. Like, that's so much easier than how I was doing it. So like things like that could have just like really helped my workflow. If I had like, I've worked with Zeus before tracking. He did like our last few records, and it's kind of nice just having someone at the helm, and like you don't have to worry about anything going wrong from a recording side of things. Or if a hiccup does happen, like he's seen it a million times, and it's like, oh yeah, I just got to like reboot and then we'll be good. So it was, I guess, like yes and no to that question, because there were certain elements that were very challenging because I was doing it all myself. But then I guess there were certain elements where like I could kind of breathe easy, like because I was doing it myself.
Yeah. So you mentioned schooling and stuff too. Did I read that you went to Berkeley?
Yeah,
I did. Yeah, I got my degree from Berkeley.
What did you get your degree in?
It was just called professional music. It was just kind of basically like a choose your own adventure major. I took some like a lot of performance-based classes, a little bit of music business, some education courses.
Definitely.
Nice.
So it was not based in theory. It was kind of just more in the kind of like production side of it, or was it?
No, I didn't take really
overall?
any production classes at all.
I would call that like more general of aspects of being in the music industry, learning a little bit of the business.
Yeah. I mean, theory you have to learn there no matter what. Like you have to take 4 years of music theory. I took some piano courses because I was studying teaching, so like that's like a prerequisite. I had to like learn like fucking like clarinet and shit like that, like wood reed instrument classes. But yeah, a lot of it was like cool guitar performance based classes. Again, I could kind of choose my own adventure there. So
that is kind of like the way they're trying to do it, is where you dip your toes in various ponds of music, right?
That was just the major I chose. I mean, you can go full on music education, you can go on full on music business, you can go full on performance, you could do full on like film scoring, composition. I think now I'm sure the major has or the major options have changed over the years. Like I'm almost entirely possible they have like probably just like a full on like electronic music major where you're probably working with Ableton and things like that. And,
do they have like metal or extreme metal courses that you can take there?
Oh yeah. I mean, Joe Stump is like the OG there. I mean, he's like shred master. So I took more of my courses with him actually when I was in high school though. Because shit. Like I went to an arts high school. It was my first time like learning jazz and all that kind of stuff. But there was a Berkeley summer program that normally would cost money, but because like Berkeley was sort of like the school I went to was kind of like a feeder school for all of these other like arts colleges. So Mass Art and Berkeley and Emerson. It was kind of meant to like keep local Boston talent like within the Boston area. So like we would get like stipends and stuff like that to go, like we could take like Berkeley courses and shit like that. Or not everybody, like some people like chose other avenues obviously, but like I could go to like the summer program and basically like attend it for free. And then even when I was like a senior, I was able to like actually just start taking like Berkeley college courses.
Wow.
So a lot of my like private lessons with Joe Stump, who was like the metal guy there, I had like more like I was like 16, 17, like 18, like during like summer break, I would go into like, it was called the 5-week program. And I would study with him there. I took like, I think like 1 or 2 classes with Joe, and I think a semester of private lessons when I was at Berkeley. But by that point, I already had like gotten like so many kind of lessons with him that I just kind of wanted to sort of branch out and study with different people.
That's awesome. Actually, Casey, there's a link here with this band. I don't know if you know.
That's fucking rad, dude.
I know that's awesome, by the way. That's fucking. I have a friend, Matt Loftus. He has like. He's like obsessed with learning. He has like 7 degrees from Berkeley, and he has like 9 degrees in astrophysics. He's like a degree aholic, but he always told me how crazy Berkeley was. But one thing that we have a link with all of us is that so that Black Dahlia tour on 3 Inches of Blood, Ash was the drummer. And Ash is now your drummer, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So Ash literally, like, I went to see you guys in Santa Cruz kind of recently. Alluvial was supposed to stay here. Their van broke down or something. And I was like walking up the stairs and I see Ash. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And he was like, what the fuck? We had like a what the fuck moment. And he was 3 Inches of Blood's drummer. And now he's drumming with you guys. And I was like, holy shit, dude. Like, I haven't seen him. He was like a young buck, like coming up back in the 3 Inches of Blood days. And now he's your drummer. How did you meet him? And how did you come into contact? He's a great dude. I love that guy.
Yeah, he's awesome. An incredible drummer too. Yeah, met him when we were on tour with 3 Inches of Blood. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's a pick right there, man. But anyways, me and Casey toured with them back in the day, and I was so stoked to see him like joining such a sick band, and I'm glad you have such a great drummer. And I'm drunk, I have to pee. Love you guys.
That's all good. I was just gonna say one quick thing that I wanted to mention with connections is while I was going to pee, I heard you mention Al Glassman from Goratory, right?
Oh yeah, Goratory. He was in Despise, Job.
Yeah, dude. He's another great dude that I came across very early in my metal upcomings, and it was 2004 Maryland Death Fest, and Goratory was playing, and he was at the same hotel as us, Motel 6 nearby or whatever, and the late night hangs after the show would always be this one group, and Al was one of them, and me and my group, we were all in it too. And then coming across Al playing with Job for a Cowboy too, I was like, wow, this is so crazy how things just get like interwoven, and then you kind of like loop back and meet each other again, and then, oh, this is what you're up to. Which, by the way, if you don't know about Goratory, you need to dig on some Goratory shit, Cali Death fans, because that's some serious technical. Rice on Suede is like,
I was just gonna say Rice
a
on Suede.
wild fucking album, dude. Yeah. It's such a wild album.
I'm pretty sure Adam just like totally like freeballed all the
like, vocals.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like there's lyrics like in the booklet, but like I think he just was like just totally improvising it like the entire time. Like, and then awesome, wrote lyrics after the fact.
Yeah, dude. But I love that. I love that album. I love that band, and I love Al. So shout out Al. I don't know if it'll get to you, but there you go, bro. Shout out. All right, let's get back on to where are we at? Did we get into like the timeline of bands before Revocation though, or should we just fast forward since we're already 2 hours in? Should we just be in the current times now?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we could stay current.
Yeah, all right, let's do that. So the new record, dude, there's a lot of really good. I mean, when I mentioned earlier in the beginning, tastefully technical. I love this tastefully technical group of bands that I kind of think that, like, you know, you could lump Alluvial, you just mentioned, or Decapitated, or like you might want to call them like a precursor to this tastefully technical situation that's going on. And I really like it because it's you're playing with how technical you can make it while still keeping it groovy. That is, I think, the sweet spot that I think why I'm talking about it now over 2 decades into being a metalhead now. Like, oh, dude, the the code has been cracked where you can be technical and have a deep groove at the same time and feel both of those things at the same time. I think that's what we're trying to do right now, and everybody's achieving it now, and Revocation is one of those bands for me that is achieving this perfect blend of groove and technicality. And Quo Vadis is one of those bands too that I actually see as, I don't know if that's an influence on the new album, but there's one song, I forget which one it is, Nihilistic something, where I'm getting a nice healthy heap of Quo Vadis in that song.
Yeah, Nihilistic Violence.
There you go.
I mean, yeah, Quo Vadis were a sick band. We toured with them back in the day.
Jesus, you toured with them? Holy fuck!
Yeah, as well.
Nice.
I don't know if like necessarily they were an influence for that song specifically, but I mean, I guess that's the cool thing about influences is sometimes, they're more subconscious, and music at a certain point too is like different people can kind of draw their own conclusions with things. I think
subconscious, you can actually get a more natural like influence shown because it's subconscious. If you're trying to be a band, it might not come out as natural and organic, but no matter what, dude, as artists, our influences are always gonna come to the surface at some point.
But yeah, thank you so much for all the kind words there. Yeah, we've been doing it for quite a while, and I think we just continue to further define ourselves with every release that we put out. Certainly there's the technical element to our music, but yeah, I don't want it to be like technical for the sake of technicality. I want it to really enhance the music. Certainly we love to groove, and we love to like lock into a good pocket. I think it just creates contrast, and that to me is sort of, I don't know, I guess one of the driving factors of Revocation is to kind of continue to grow our sound. Like obviously we're sort of under a certain umbrella of death metal and thrash metal, but having that progressive quality to it, that allows us to, I don't know, just constantly bring new elements to the table. I never want people to feel like they know what they're going to expect when a new Revocation record comes out. I want them to always have some element of surprise there, where like, we brought in some influence, and that I don't know, hopefully hits hard and is great in a live setting and all that, but also hopefully, just makes people feel something, and gives them that sort of jolt of energy, or element of surprise that kind of we were talking about sort of at the very beginning of the interview, where you hear something that just like connects with you on like a sort of an emotional level.
Yeah, before you can fully translate it. Yeah. That's
Definitely
awesome, dude.
I mean, you guys have always had a like kind of like a thrash bass. I've always like that first song you were talking about in the probably post or pre-pod, maybe on the pod, but like your first like hit or your first music video that you did, like it was thrash, but then there was parts where you're doing like weird tapping parts, and I was like, whoa, what's going on? And all the like tech guys were like, all the thrash guys were like, fuck yeah, but all the tech guys were like, their ears was like, they're like, what's going on with this guy?
Yeah, that's what it's all
like,
about. It's like it's
kind of
getting
like
those two groups together,
Yeah. So outside of like thrash and stuff and death metal, like who are your favorite like fusion jazz people, or like something
non-metal guys.
non-metal? Because I can tell the way you play that you have a ton of influences. I can tell there's like all over probably like Al Demiel, I don't know, all over the place. Who are your like top three? Not to do the top three thing, which everyone fucking does, but as far as the like technical guitar players or progressive guitar players or songwriters that you would say that are outside of metal.
It's just guitar players.
You can go wherever you want with that.
Okay. I mean, John Coltrane, Kurt Rosenwinkel, and again, like top, I'm just gonna like, I'll name just three of my faves. Yeah, Coltrane, Kurt Rosenwinkel. Man, it's just like so hard.
Give us a rundown on Rosenwinkel for people who don't know, because I haven't heard that name. I want to know.
He's just an incredible guitar player, jazz guitar player.
Okay.
Yeah. Just super musical. And then I don't know, like let's say like Keith Jarrett, piano.
Okay.
Yeah. Nice.
What about
those are just three, like, you know, like in terms of a top or ranking system? I mean, they're
I know the ranking system. I hate doing that.
Yeah.
After I said it, I was like, God
three
damn it.
amazing musicians that come to mind. And
yeah. Well, no, I think you just mentioned like three. You didn't? Did you say Did you say top, Joel?
I mean, yeah, probably.
Okay. It doesn't matter.
You know,
it's just give three examples. That's it.
Well, I can tell, like, I mean, with you, I mean, diving into more. So with thrash and stuff, are you guys fucking with many like odd time signatures and stuff? Or are you guys doing more of that with thrash and death metal? Like, is that like, because to me, thrash was always like, it was like very forward, you know, it was like very just like easy for people to grasp and just like mosh to. But are you trying to throw more, like, you probably already have, and this is a dumb question, but as far as like the odd time signatures and stuff like that, or is that something that you're pushing more in thrash or in death metal? Or is it something that's kind of like, that's something that you're maybe going to do in the future? What do you think, Anthony? I'm just kidding.
I mean, yeah, we've certainly have used a lot of odd time meter over the course of our career, and I'm sure we'll continue to do that.
Sick. Yeah, I'm out of questions. So I read this. No, that was man. I could nerd out with like gear with you, because as far as like your guitars and stuff like that, and watching you over the years and seeing you progress and all that stuff, it's been fucking awesome, man. And it's one of those kind of, I mean, I could tell the fact that I read today you went to Berkeley. I'm like, of course he did. He has all the knowledge and stuff, and working with like other musicians and stuff, especially with working with Gorguts, Luke LeMay. Like he's pretty theoried out too, right?
Well,
but he's got like a
went to
weird
school for composition. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
So like, how do you work with other people that aren't theory based, and then have to work with them with metal? And how do you go about like going, like writing a song or jamming with them? Like, do you write theory based, or do you write more like just kind of like, oh, this riff is sick, and then kind of like build off of it, kind of like with like a building blocks of theory behind it, but not like built in like a certain, this is in this key and this is in this.
How to use theory, like if or not, in your writing?
Well, I mean, I guess to get to the first part of your question, I mean, probably like a good amount of people in metal like aren't that versed in theory, which is totally fine. I mean, you know, ultimately like metal's about attitude and you know, just I don't know, tapping into this like sort of aggressive. I mean, who knows where some of these death metal riffs come from? You know, it's like it comes
if
from.
It sounds good to you, then that's like your ear. That's all it. I mean, that's the same as music. It's just theory. If you don't have to have theory to like hear something, it sounds good.
So like when like my bass player doesn't really know like a ton of theory or this or that, but like I mean I can communicate to him like what I want, and he's like a great player and he's got a good ear and a good sense of rhythm, and that's really all. You know, I mean I'm like okay, it's these are the notes that I want you to play. You know, he's not like totally not versed in theory. Like he can kind of conceptualize certain things certainly, but like I mean I have more knowledge of chord scales and like all that kind of stuff than he does, but he can play this shit, you know, just fine. So you don't necessarily need to have, not everyone doesn't need to know like Berkeley level music theory in order to communicate. I would say that knowing theory does help me communicate, and also just having taught for such a long time. You know, I mean, if I'm working with our drummer, you know, with Ash, I can be like, oh, I want this on like the and of beat 3 or something like that, like shit that like just you know. So I can communicate with him on that level. I mean, with Luke, when we wrote that song together, there was like no theory that we talked about at all. It was just like, okay, here's this riff, and like, you know, here's how to play it. And
I mean,
send stuff back and forth. And I think a lot of the stuff with theory is like, for me, it's like I have a good you know, I've got a pretty good wealth of knowledge when it comes to theory. I mean, obviously there's stuff out there that I don't know. But I don't really think about theory too much when I write. I guess the ultimate thing, it's just like with technique, right? You want to like get it so that you don't think about it when you're playing. So that to me is where the real like magic of music theory comes in, is like you think about it and you think about it and you think about it, and then it becomes part of your memory, and then it just kind of like fades into the background. Like I'll give like a quick like example. Chick Corea, who's another great jazz piano player, said this. He was giving like a clinic, and someone asked him like, "Oh, how do you like learn tunes?" And he goes, "I don't learn tunes, I know tunes." And he's like, there's a certain like thing with like memory, like when you say like, "Oh, do you have your name memorized or do you know your name?" And like everyone's like, "Oh, I know my name." And he's like, exactly. Like memory still implies there's like a recall thing there, whereas like knowing something, it's just like it's just like you don't even have to think about it at all. It's just there. Like, you know your phone number, you know your address or whatever. So you know, that was really inspiring to me to like get to that level with I mean, he was talking about it in regards to like playing, you know, jazz standards and stuff like that. But to me, like you could kind of apply that to a lot of things in music, such as like, I don't know, if you work on a scale, you know, if you have to sort of think about what the notes in the scale are, maybe you could play it, but maybe it's not going to kind of creep into your music in more of like a natural way. Whereas like if you just have something like really ingrained in you, then you're going to be able to be musical with it, and it's going to start to come out, and you're not going to think like, oh, I wrote a riff that's Lydian flat 7 or whatever.
Yeah,
like
it's knowing a language.
Lydian flat 7, but like, because that's happened to me a ton of times where I've written something and someone has been like, oh yeah, like what key is that in, or what is that, and then I have to like go back and analyze it after the fact, and I'm like, oh, it's a diminished riff or something like that, when I wasn't thinking about that at all. So that's the kind of the cool thing that happens with music theory, is it's like you just like one other quick thing to mention, like Ben Monder, another amazing jazz guitar player, he talked about theory in an interview once, and he said like to him the purpose of music theory is actually really more ear training. So it's like it's to train your ear to hear things that you didn't normally kind of know were out there, and then that becomes part of your vocabulary.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I was just thinking of that, and I was kind of like, you know, like it kind of seems like the whole thing, like theory helps you to like analyze music, you know, like to like, I mean, obviously, but like it helps you to like hear something and be able to like put it in a time signature and be like, these are the beats and and like, you know, map it out and stuff. But it's kind of like after the fact, like it doesn't necessarily like need to be there for the creative process.
Yeah. But it could be. I mean, I could sit down and say, okay, I'm going to write a song using this weird scale because I've never written something with this scale before, and like make a point to do it. And that's fine too. But it's just the majority of like the riffs that I write, even to this day, it's still pretty much the same process as when I was 16 years old, which is like I just sit with the guitar. I just like fuck around until like stuff comes out. And I would hope that like the stuff that I'm playing now is, I don't know, you know, better or, you know, more musical. But again, I guess it's in the ear of the beholder, right? Maybe fans of Revocation like our first record the most because maybe I was just tapped into something, you know, a different mindset when I was you know, 17, 18 writing those riffs than I am at like 36. But I think my music's compositionally and just kind of overall has gotten better with time, and that's just kind of what I strive to do. So whether it's learning theory or, you know, working my technique or any of the components that, you know, make me the musician that I am and that I'm striving to continue to become, I guess I try not to think about all that other stuff when I go into the actual like writing and composing of something. It's more just like I'm trying to like play from the heart and just allow all those other concepts, almost just kind of treat them like colors, like on a color palette, and just like kind of let them inform me in a subconscious way.
There's
how to
tools,
put
tools in a sense,
how to put myself.
So for you, maybe like solos maybe might be theory based or like a theory behind, but like the riff and the song is probably like just kind of comes out of you, and you're not like, oh, it's Lydian. Well, you're not trying to figure that out, but it sounds good, right?
Well, yeah, that would be a good example of like maybe where like theory comes into play, like where like I'll write a riff, or like let's say like I'm doing a guest solo for this project or whatever. Like I didn't write the riff, right? So I didn't. You know, I'm not consciously aware of like where things are going, or subconsciously aware of it. So I have to like kind of decipher it and go through it and, figure out like, okay, what are the chords here? Like, or what are the implied chords? Like are there actual chords that are happening, or if it's a riff, like what does this imply? And then kind of figure out from there. Maybe it's just one tonality, maybe the key changes a few times. Maybe it's ambiguous, and like one riff could be multiple scales. And at that point I have the ability to kind of, choose. But I guess sort of the analytical part kind of ends there. Like once I have like my roadmap, then from there I'm just trying to like play and improvise and see what comes out, and take chances too, and throw in some maybe things that are not part of the scale just to see how they sound.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Super stoked
Oh,
on that.
totally. Yeah, for sure.
Good stuff.
Well, I mean, should we? Oh, dude, this is one thing that we haven't talked on real quick. I know it's getting late for you, Dave, but I want to talk on this a little bit because, we all experienced it through, all the news about it. And I want to know a little bit about your experience and what you saw in the tragedy that happened on your recent run with Morbid Angel.
Oh shit, you were on that tour.
The tornado.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was just like, it's just really terrible. It's
very terrible.
Yeah. I don't really like talking about it. It's pretty fucked up. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm sorry about that. Then we'll just move on from that. Then but yeah, dude, so what's in the near future for Revocation? What do you got going? What's bubbling up right now that you can talk about?
I'm not really sure. Like, I think we have some plans to do some stuff like in the fall or winter. It seems like the summertime is pretty much open for us right now, but things can always change. You get like a phone call from your manager. It's like, oh, so and so wants to take you out on tour. So as it stands now, pretty much I think the summer is off, which is great because I'm working on writing the next Gargoyl record with our drummer James and Luke. Two of the members are up in Canada, so we're just kind of going demos back and forth on that. So hopefully sometime in the fall we'll record new Gargoyl record once we get that written. And then, like I said, I think we have some plans. It's either like later fall or maybe winter time to do some more touring. There's some different like markets that we don't normally get to hit that are kind of in the mix right now. So I don't want to say too much about that because like there's like just like a lot of moving parts there, as you can imagine when you're playing shows and different parts of the world. You're trying to like string together dates. Like if one thing falls through, like it kind of fucks everything. So that's kind of the goal, is to hopefully kind of close out the Nether Heaven tour cycle with like a little bit of like a world tour thing where we can hit some markets that we don't get to go to that often.
Are you guys trying to hit any fest in Europe fests or anything?
This summer, no, we're not doing any fests in Europe. No.
Okay. Yeah, it seems like I mean, what do you think about doing those fests? It seems like kind of like a clusterfuck. I mean, there's a ton of people to play, but it seems like with the amount of bands, like I almost flew out to Hellfest last year, and I was like, last second decided not to, but I just looked. I'm like, every band's playing. Like, how does the logistics of a fucking festival have like 200 bands playing? Like, what do you think about doing those festivals, those big ass festivals? Is that like a more, I mean, obviously you get to play for a lot of people, but what's your perception going into like a Hellfest or a Wacken or something like that and playing those?
I mean, they're definitely intense, but I mean, yeah, it's great. We've done Hellfest before and Summer Breeze and a lot of those big festivals. They're a blast, but they're definitely they're logistically tough. You're playing like, I'm sure if you're like headlining and like that, like you get to like have a soundtrack and all that stuff, but like, it's kind of like a throw and go. You're not usually playing on your own gear. It's almost always like rented stuff. So that's actually where like having like a Fractal or a Kemper would come in great on like festival shit.
Right.
But because like, oh man, the amount of times I've like had to like use like, you know, an amp and I had like a busted foot switch or some bullshit like that, and you just kind of have to like roll with it. You know, it's tough, and you're playing like at like 2 or 3 in the afternoon, so it's not like you're totally like I don't know, kind of out of whack with your normal show schedule. And oftentimes when you're doing those fests, they're kind of peppered in with like other, you know, kind of one-off shows here and there just to kind of get to the next, because the festivals are usually always like they're like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it's like, all right, what the fuck do you do for like the rest of the week? So normally like you'll put together some type of package. Actually, I think that was one of the first. I think that was where I met Luke. Not like met him for the first time, but that was like the first time we toured together. I'm pretty sure that was a wild lineup. It was like Converge, Gorguts, us, and Havoc, and like Gorguts, Havoc, and Revocation just like rotated slots every night, and then like Converge like would headline. So it was like but that was like that kind of weird mishmash lineup that you're only going to get because it's festival season and because bands can get from point A to point B. So yeah, it's weird kind of going from like club shows one night where you're playing in front of like, you know, a few hundred people to festival and it's like 10,000 people and you're like, it's just a totally different environment. So it's definitely crazy to kind of acclimate to, but I don't know, there's something about those huge crowds and that reaction that you get from people that's it's really something special.
Totally. That's the ultimate test, is like being thrown in front of the most people and they're like, hey dude, here's a Marshall JCM 2000 with a broken foot switch and like you want to play the most people you ever
bro. That's how it goes.
It's like the most people you ever play in front of, it's like, check this fucking, I got a mode 4 is going to be your
no fucking amount of tone wood can save you that, dude.
Exactly. It's like, get your music to everyone, but it's like I have to learn like right before we go on. Okay, this does what? All right, I guess this is the clean, I think, right? All right, let's go. It's like it's so
like having to like troubleshoot it, like like while like everyone's there. It's not like you got like, it's not like doors aren't open. You can kind of figure it out. It's like you got like just some like crazy drunk dude screaming at you in the front row, and you're just like, fuck.
Holding up a random country's flag, just going, what the fuck, dude?
So, but yeah, it's a trial by fire, and but you know, everyone's there to have a good time, and you know,
that's what keeps
the
you.
Good thing is like, hey, like once it's done, like you get like the rest of the day to just like hang out at the festival and just. Like,
that release is great, dude.
Yeah,
it's like a free trip.
Done.
I mean, kind of, you know, yeah, definitely. Well, fuck. I know it's late over there, Dave. Thanks for fucking hanging out, man. Let's fucking got a lot of cool stuff out of you. A lot of the gear nerd shit that I wanted to get out of you. I got it. I love it.
Thanks so much for having me, guys. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you my coupon or my email for the coupon code for that guitar.
Straight to the spam folder.
Yeah, dude. Dave, you're rad, dude. Let's stay in touch for sure, dude.
Hell yeah, man.
Fuck yeah. I had like a blast, like just like nerding out and like talking about fucking
totally, dude.
Brutal technical death metal. Like I was 16 years old again. So.
That's kind of what
we're a lot of guys you could like, you know, really go in depth on like the side projects of the side projects of like the theory and practice guy. So I appreciate it.
Dude, Mutant, dude, that Mutant album. I had that Mutant album, dude.
It's fucking sick, dude.
It's sick. I remember that. I remember like
that crazy cover with like the like weird alien thing on it.
Oh, I totally remember that, dude. That's insane. I haven't heard anyone mention that for 10, 15 years. That's insane.
Fuck yeah, pretty big nerd.
Yeah, dude. This is where you can nerd out on that shit. That's why we do the show, so we can still nerd out on the shit that we used to nerd out on.
It started with COVID, the whole pandemic. We're like, how are we gonna hang out? And this is kind of where it's brought us, is just nerding out with everyone. So.
Thanks again, guys. Really appreciate it.
Hell yeah, dude. All right, let's wrap up with the plugs one more time, real quick. Battleforgecoffee.com. Go buy your coffee there. The homies. CaliDeathPodcast.BigCartel.com. So we're gonna support the show and catch the professor on his tour. I thought the flyer was gonna pop up, but no, that was just me.
Casey's clicking all the buttons.
No, this is what he did in the beginning of the last one. He just threw it all. He just blew his whole load in the beginning. Professor is gonna be in Minneapolis tomorrow night. Or tonight, if you're watching this on Friday. All right, Dave, Revocation plugs one more time.
Yeah, Revocation. If you're looking for merch, Night Shift, or Empiricon if you're in Europe. Obviously, Metal Blade. They've got our records and stuff. We talked a lot of guitar nerd shit today. So if you want Revocation tabs, you can get those from Sheet Happens. They have pretty much like all of our records like tabbed out, like note for note, and I like.
You teach lessons too, though. By the way,
I do. Yeah. I also teach lessons. You can contact me through DaveDavidsonGuitar.com. My other band, Gargoyl. Check that out. Definitely departure from Revocation, but if you like, I don't know, weird avant-garde prog rock, you might dig that. And the Palette Veil thing, I think there's like, I don't know, it's probably under like 50 copies of the vinyl left at this point. But if you want some super limited vinyl 7-inch, check out Total Dissonance Worship for that.
Boom.
Fuck yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
Well, dude, I had a really good time tonight, guys. And are we raiding anybody?
Yeah, I got it.
Boom. All right. Joel's going to send you guys to a mysterious place because he's not saying where. Where is that? All right. And done. All right. Love you guys. We'll see you guys next week and rock on.
All right.
Peace.